Yours. Yeah.
If you want to say zero. All in the Senate. So these are all mics. The cameras are over there.
It's okay.
Everybody, I need to wear put a mask on.
Are these microphones on?
So you know what.
Oh, okay.
Are these microphones on?
Yes.
Should we turn them on? No, I mean, leave this one.
Somebody said.
Yes. One more stone pieces.
So you signed up to that? What time?
I'm working on it.
Okay, let me know.
No, it's on the website.
Huh? Should be on
It's on the other side. We didn't do it.
up there. So when Jeanette lets people speak, do we have to unmute this? You have to unmute this.
If you want to hear it.
Okay, sign up, let me get people on, sign up first.
Meeting notes are what you would see.
Are you on?
Yep.
Let everybody in.
Let me, no, Jeanette. I have to make her co-host. Mark, if I could get over there and make her co-host, and then she can do it. Jeanette, is Jason your son?
You know, the gas. No. Yeah. Camera so we can see the floor.
I can't, for some reason, I haven't been able to. No, it's not. It's not.
I know what it
So
is. This is why.
for some reason, I can't make
He was signed it under his.
What?
Well, we'll just use our own laptops. I'm already logged in.
Yeah,
For the people.
yeah, you can.
Right?
Yes.
No. I have a school table, because she changed it, because I have it on the same side of the table. So that one is next, lines up to 2, 3, 4.
Let's see, password? What is a password? E4
This is where it's worse. Here. Here, so,
That's yours? Yep. Oh my gosh. Like, it was going off in the background. Join this video.
so it's gonna be like a code.
The host of Hwa Yuan Szechuan.
Okay, let's see.
So I don't know if it's gonna be like code. But, okay, so when if someone has a question for Zoom, right now it's just muted. Okay, so over Zoom, just unmute it.
And it's more rare, because otherwise you're gonna get rid of it.
Right. Here's the video. You are the host now.
Okay, now next.
So should I admit everybody?
Yes, let everybody.
629. Next.
There's your cheat sheet.
So,
Fine, right?
2 to 3, yeah, so you see it's moving kind of slow, but it's moving. And then if you still see some people cut off.
Okay.
what is it on? I don't see that. I don't see Michelle.
Thank you.
So yeah, so 3, that's what I was saying earlier. I tested it empty seats, yeah, but now that there's active people in it.
Oh, it says right here.
You and then
Excuse me, you have to keep your mask
So we
on.
can just leave this on.
you want to leave it on.
And then just wait. Oh, look at this.
White button.
This isn't for you guys.
You know. The one that both.
Will we able to get Michelle?
Yeah, or just these three.
Yeah, take a chair right now. I feel like it's their right.
Make sure we this will pick it up.
Mhm.
And it will be street.
Oh, yeah, wow, everyone's speaking to me.
We can do
You can take a chair, try and consider.
Otherwise, I mean.
Yeah, like whatever.
I understand that, like, do the other one, not, you will speak. Right, and behind you needs to be on which it is.
So my computer
So
just-
now you see all that, what's this? Yeah. No, we don't.
So mic back on?
Yeah, mic's on.
Oh, so mics are on.
Yep, everything's on.
Okay.
Yeah, like.
Oh, no. She's gonna- Good to start.
Okay, now we're gonna start the meeting, so everyone please be quiet, we're actually doing this hybrid, so any like background noise will be sort of a problem for Zoom. Instructions for in-person and for Zoom. This is our first hybrid meeting in C3 ever, so please bear with us. So if you're here on Zoom, please sign in to the chat like we did during regular Zoom times. Jeanette here will help me with moderating and seeing who is here to speak. If you're here to speak on a certain item, please write the numbers so we know who is here for what, and we can adjust the agenda as necessary. Tonight, you're going to be considering the following items. Just pay attention because there are several withdrawals. Number 3, Bridgeview Hotel, 50 Bowery, which is an alteration. Number 5, Roberta's at 15 Avenue A. Number 6, Lindon at 21 Essex Street. Number 7, Ave C Hospitality at 102 Ave C. Number 10, Moneygoround at 235 Eldridge Street. And number 11, Sally Committee at 252 Broome. Okay. So everyone on Zoom, please sign into the chat and also indicate if you want to speak on a certain item so we can, as I mentioned, adjust the agenda as necessary. Okay. I'm gonna for now start with number 3, Bridgeview Hotel, the applicant here. Item. If you're on Zoom, please unmute yourself and let us know. Is that number 3 here?
Hi, you have Sam Asfahani here from OSNYC. We also have Lauren Chu, Ryan Bender, and Claire Kaido, all from Bridgeview Hotel.
Excuse me.
Yes. Right. Okay. Okay. All righty. Oh yeah, if you're the applicant, you can also just direct message Jeanette on Zoom so that she knows that you're here when I call you, because we didn't say what reference. So we're moving on to number 5 for this. Okay.
So there's like 10 or 15 people out there for the Ave C item.
Oh. Okay.
I told them to wait outside, so we.
Okay, all right, thank you for letting me know. Okay, so we'll go to that one. It's hard to hear the unsafe apparently. Okay, well, we're going to sound issues on Zoom. Okay, so we're gonna do number 5 now, and then we'll go to number 6, or sorry, number 7 now, because there seems to be at least a number of people here speaking on that. So, okay. Number 5, Roberta's. This is application for a full liquor license, and the premises located at 15 Avenue A, between East Houston and East Second Street. This is an application for an Italian restaurant with 44 seats and 1 bar with 4 seats. This is a previously unlicensed location. It's this applicant is licensed with a full on-premise 261 Street, Brooklyn, since November 2012, and 266 Avenue since September 2020, both in Brooklyn, and then has 2 restaurant wine licenses in Manhattan, one at 230 Park Avenue, which looks like a food hall, and one at 578 Larson Avenue, which I think is also a food hall. Did you send us a petition? Yes. Private audience on Zoom is echoey. We have like 6 mics on it. How do we get this like on? Everyone on Zoom, we are working on the audio issues. Please bear with us. Do you know why they sent the petition? Excuse me, what is the audio issue? They said it's an echoey and she sounds awful. Now picking up Michelle. So. It's amazing to, you know, fast. So so I don't have a petition. Okay, someone borrowed it. Yeah. Okay.
So we can adjust the cameras. Just the camera. What's your idea of the sound? What's your idea of the sound? The sound? Should I proceed? Yeah. Good. Okay. Sorry about that. Is there anything that you want to correct or change?
2 a.m. closing hours, pretty
We're always 2 a.m. Because of like current staffing issues, like we just don't have the staff to keep our restaurants open full time. We're actually not even open full time. So we're closing Monday to Friday. Right now, it's only fine staff. So we just wanted to go back to what our normal concept of operating hours are.
More licensed hours, and, I mean,
And they're operating hours to us. Sweet. Yes. Chair. Down here, and so it's
you've been pretty unlicensed spaces in saturated areas, which this is. So Susan, do you want to speak about that?
Extremely noisy, oversaturated lot. All the things that you're saying, you don't have the 500 license. It's about congestion, it backs up, people blast their cars, blast the radio, they're back up and on the block, but that's not the issue at all. The issue is the people constantly going from one place to another, block to other avenue and back. It is so noisy. So I'm speaking also as a resident that lives within 500 feet on the 11th floor, and you can hear the noise from that block that wakes you up. People are not inside the restaurant. So, just in the house, right behind. Buildings on the west side. The next block between 2nd and 3rd is first houses, which are mostly seniors. So it impacts a lot of people. Street is 100. So this is an example of not having public interest, not anything to do with the business. You know, we understand it's a good business, people love you, which is the issue. It's the location. It's all about the location, going into a heavily oversaturated spot. It was a dental office. It's never been licensed. And it's like the only place that is licensed.
Right.
And it, for consistency, we have not granted licenses in oversaturated areas.
Thanks. Yes, yeah.
Sure. Sure, go ahead. Sorry, so the reason this location in particular, and I know it's previously not been licensed, is that they have relationships in the real estate that asked Roberta's to come into this space specifically. They were looking to have Roberta's there. We didn't seek this space out necessarily. It just was an opportunity that presented itself. And to the point of the business as well, this is more of a grown-up operation and not, I understand your point, but I just did want to speak to that. It's more young families and not a raucous kind of situation.
I could just say, I understand it's a wonderful business. I'm young myself, so it's not the issue. It's the drawing it because it's so popular. It's already oversaturated area, drawing more people there. And those people, it's symbiotic. We go from that place to another place to another place. Nothing about the business other than it's popular.
Interesting. Can I ask, are you going to be a licensee? I don't see your name on that.
No.
Are any of the licensees here?
They aren't, unfortunately, they thought it was going to be a Zoom meeting like before, and I think there was some confusion.
Well, they can attend on Zoom, but we can't hear the application without the applicants. Are they in the Zoom meeting? I can unmute them.
They are not, no. I was here representing the company.
That's on the information that we sent to the representative.
Understood.
You work for Broome?
I'm the director of business development for Roberta's.
Okay, so all the information we said on the first page, it says applicant must be here.
Understood. So then we would probably need to reschedule until next
Yes.
month. Okay.
And this won't actually delay anything for you
Okay.
because we're not voting this month. The full board is not.
It looks like it's just us. Does anyone know someone at the meeting that we could call and tell them?
I'm not even sure who's there at the actual meeting.
Yeah, Amy from my building is supposed to be there. I just texted her. So, but I don't know that she's physically there.
I saw Amy on the Zoom.
Okay, well then she's not there yet.
I see they just switched the host, so maybe we're gonna come back on.
They're checking it. I know two people at the meeting and they're checking now. They know that the internet went out.
But by the way, where do we find the agenda? Is that the one on their website, on the community board website?
Yes, it's on the website.
Okay. I like your little icon, the cat. It's better than my face.
I'll put my face back eventually.
I think a few from the space board have wrote like about number 7, but I don't believe that I don't think that's in our area. So I don't know if folks miswrote or we're gonna.
It's number 6, Lucky Lindon, 21 Essex Street.
Okay. Okay, I thought so. Alex, I think you might have mentioned 7. Just FYI, a few folks from the group, I think, wrote 7.
Number 7. 102 Avenue C. What?
Yes.
All right, Susan, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, all right, so it's an application for 102 Avenue C, it's between 6th Street and 7th Street. 12 tables with 45 seats, 1 bar with 10 seats, closing at 1 a.m. Sunday to Wednesday, 2 a.m. Thursday to Saturday, serving Northern European food in a full kitchen. So this applicant has been licensed at the storefront next door as Joy Face since March 2019, closing at 2 a.m. Sunday to Wednesday and 3 a.m. Thursdays to Saturdays with a full-on premises liquor license. Oh, sorry, that's this location, and then has been licensed previously until 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. And then next door, where this applicant is, they've been licensed since 2017. We've had reports from residents that the applicants who operate next door at Joy Face have used a line, have had a line outside on East 7th Street, despite having Community Board 3 stipulations that will asking them, well, they signed them legally to agree that they will ensure that there are no wait lines outside. We got several emails in opposition to this application because of existing issues that residents have with Joy Face, including a resident who initially supported the application for the Joy Face location, but then has had trouble with it ever since and does not support this application. There were 16 noise complaints at Joy Face with NYPD action since 2018. This place is asking to be a restaurant. As I said, closing at 1 a.m. Sunday to Wednesday and 2 a.m. Thursday to Saturday. Susan, do you want to talk about any of that? Sorry. No, I'll come up, that's fine.
So community board, I didn't realize there were this many residents impacted.
Susan, I can.
Oh, thank you. The community board before shutdown had been working with many residents in the area who had first gone to the police and then came to the community board for help. There were lines on, there were long lines on 7th Street that were very loud. It stayed late. It impacted the residents above. But our stipulations specifically that the applicant had agreed to had been no lines outside at all. And when the residents, some of the residents complained to the applicant, they sent him a text message that said, the lines are out there because Community Board 3 required, I think was the ropes and the lines, which was totally untrue. We had a number, all of this has been discussed with the applicant's lawyer. So until shutdown, there was actually a constant problem with noise from outside and with breaking stipulations. I believe there was also complaint about one party bus, which is also against stipulations. And there's about, I guess, 15 or 20 residents here. I don't know if they're speaking in support or against, but or both. But I'll let them talk for more details.
Thanks. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Donald Bernstein. I'm the attorney for the applicant here, Brian Powell and Jennifer Shore. My clients are with me here. First, let me tell you about this application, then I'm going to address some of the statements made about Joyface. And if you think there was a problem, we have 20 plus people here and on Zoom supporting our application, including people who live in the building, people who live on the block in the community, strongly supportive of Joyface. There are a very small number, I think about 2 or 3 people who have complained, while we have dozens of people that are in support. So first, let's talk about this application, then I'll come back to Joyface. This is a transfer. We are acquiring the business that is now Ave C Restaurant that has been licensed there with a full liquor license for a number of years. We're acquiring the assets, so we'll be filing as a transfer. The space has been licensed since at least 2008. I think originally it was Mr. C's, then it was S-Bar, and then became Ave C Restaurant. So we are not adding a new license.
Asking,
Yeah. What I was saying is that we are not adding a new liquor license into the neighborhood as the space is licensed. This is not going to be connected to Joyface at all. It is a totally separate space. We are not opening it up. It is not going to be connected to it. Joyface was presented as a bar lounge. This is a full-service restaurant in the charge of a chef. We have hired a chef. His name is Morgan Robinson. He's here tonight. There he is. His credentials are quite impressive. He has worked for Stephen Starr's Upland in Manhattan, Jean George Restaurants, Tao, Momofuku, and many others. And we've attached his resume so you can see his credentials. We've also attached the menu so you can see the high quality full meal menu items that this space will be serving. You gave the specifics on the hours and the tables and the seats. It's a small establishment, 45 seats and 10 bar stools. Background music only, no DJ, no live music. We will have 7 employees. And those are the specifics on this application. We submitted a petition signed by over 230 local residents, the people from out of the neighborhood. We already crossed their names out. So you've got over 230 local residents who signed in support. As I said, we have I think somewhere between 15 to 20 people here, including 3 people who live in the building, who know Brian and Jennifer, who, by the way, live in the neighborhood. They lived in the neighborhood years ago, which is why they wanted to come here originally to open Joyface, and they've moved back since and now live in the area. These people know them, they know the establishment, they like Joyface, and they're very excited to have this new restaurant open next door. Let me just briefly address some of these claimed issues with Joyface. Specifically, let me address the line. When I came with Brian and Jennifer a few years ago, we made clear that Joyface was going to be a bar lounge. It had been a club. They were not interested in opening a club. It is not a club. It is a bar lounge. When we stipulated to no lines, and I spoke to Brian about it because I've had experience with this board where I've wanted to modify that language and say we will endeavor not to have lines because it's not something you can necessarily control. He said, well, we're not going to have lines. We're not going to be that kind of place. To his both success and detriment, it has been, to his benefit and detriment, it's been more successful than they thought. And people have gone there and have not been able to get in because of illegal occupancy. And so they have been waiting outside. I think that my clients were not fully aware of the you will never have a line. Their thought was more of what the stipulation said about managing crowds. And they were under the view that we got to manage the people outside. We do not want this to be a disturbance. They have security. They've always had security. They work with security. They work with the police. The police actually suggested putting a barrier so that they could have people against the building and not have people just milling about outside. And a couple of people in the community complained because there was a line. But the fact was people were there. And we thought in conjunction with our security and the NYPD that the best way to manage that was to have people control the line. We began the process to come back to you to change that method of operation, to remove the prohibition against lines and change it to where we use best efforts not to have lines, and if there are people outside, we will manage them as best we can. We actually noticed that change. We put it over once. COVID hit, the restaurant closed for 7 months. It seemed like a wasteful exercise of our time or your time during COVID. Since that time, they have been able to completely manage it. If there are any people outside, it is on Avenue C, not on the side street. And if there are people outside, no, it's because we are checking to make sure they are vaccinated. And long before today, when New York mandated that anyone going into a restaurant must be vaccinated, they did that from day one. When they first opened, they would not let anybody in unless they were vaccinated. It took a little time to check. People didn't know if they had the card. They didn't know what the Empire, whatever card that is. And it took a little time to get them in. So, yeah, there were some people outside, but we did the best we could and managed it and controlled it. Yeah, you want to add something?
Yeah, I just want to address one thing. That's okay, really quickly, just because the situation with Susan, and I actually feel badly about it. Sorry, it was genuinely my fault and a miscommunication. When what happened was specifically, and it's in the emails of the Donald. What I said was that we put up the stanchions and we're doing something that what the people had asked us to do. My memory was about, I remember something about managing people outside, not remembering that we had a stipulation, or even realizing, because I never anticipated lines, that we were specifically not to have allowed to have a line. So I just wanted to make it clear because it wasn't trying to be untrue. It just that it was a mistake. What I meant was we were required by the community board to manage people outside. At the same time, the local police officers who work with, I don't know what they're called, the community. Yes, they suggested stanchions. I said, okay. I went and bought stanchions and put them outside. Then I got the email saying, can't have stanchions. I called Donald, he said, you can't have stanchions, you idiot. And I removed the stanchions. So I just wanted to make that was the chain of events. And since then, they've been done, and we have been keeping it on a very small group on Avenue C only, and it's only backed up ever because people don't know what Excelsior Pass is yet. And they're downloading it as they're trying to get it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So that's all I wanted to say. We have a lot of people to speak, and I may want to address some of the issues if anybody has.
Sure, I'll just say that we do have a picture of a line on East 7th Street.
That was pre-COVID. That was when this whole email thing happened, and that's when I felt out this began.
Okay.
I was openly having a line because I'm an idiot and did not realize that I was specifically not allowed to because I never imagined having one.
Yeah.
Can I just address, I mean, stipulations are so important. Stipulations are what allow us to support businesses. And I find it very alarming to say you don't know what you're not sure of what your stipulations say. Let me just one more sentence. The stipulations also require that you post the stipulations next to your license. So they should be there. So I don't think for an experienced business person to say that they weren't aware of their stipulations as the person who gets complaints. I just want to say that, and that's it. And I just want to talk, there's like loads of people. I don't know if we want to just have them come and say their name and they support. or whatever, because.
Well, I just want to say, it's definitely a reflection on my ability to run business. It was a mistake and I could have lied, but I'm just being honest and being, certain things will overlook, but it's again, when you open a bar in East Village without a celebrity owner or a publicity firm, you don't ever anticipate actually having that. Everything that's happened has been completely again.
All right, okay. Okay, all right, I know there are a lot of people here, so, I'm gonna give everyone, let's do 1 minute because
There's gonna be like 20, how many people are out?
I know, I
20 to
have
30?
to stop.
Yes. And there's probably another.
So can I suggest,
Yeah.
can I suggest you just have to say their name and their support?
Yeah, okay.
I just want to add, I think for some of these people to say that they're not bothered by noise or people outside is important because that's been quite challenged. And I think to say they support it is great, but for them to say, I live above and I'm not affected and I don't need.
There's no difference in continuing speed, wherever they say they support it. That's all I want to hear.
Sorry, don't we typically give a couple minutes to a couple people, something like that?
Yeah, and then
That's-
everyone else.
How about that? Do you want to choose like 5 or 6
There's
people
5 people waiting right here now.
that can give a whole spiel?
Well, we can
and
start with the building residents, I think.
Okay. Well, I shouldn't say okay, it's up to the chair.
Okay, hold on. I need to keep this organized though, because, so.
We'll
if you
start
want
with
to
building
go
residents?
who they are, that would be
Yes.
helpful.
Brian, who are the building residents?
Eileen's here. She's the resident, and the 2 more outside the handicap. Oh, I'm sorry. We have 4 residents.
Michelle, we ask when people speak that they leave,
Yes.
and then more people do.
Okay, so what are the names again? Eileen,
Eileen, Andre, Samantha, and Amelia. Do you want to have a mic set?
Yeah, why don't you give the mic to them?
Audience is introduced in the new for 40 years.
Hello, my name is Eileen
hold
Szechuan.
on, sorry, I'm sorry. Sorry. Eileen,
Yes.
did you sign up?
Did you
Did you give us
sign
a
up?
paper?
No, I didn't. Okay, so if you let her speak, I'll give her a form. and she'll
Okay,
sign
thank
it.
you. That's okay, go ahead.
I reside in 230 East 7th Street, so I'm above Joy Face. I know the owners for years, and at the present time, the environment is controlled. I live on the first floor, so if anybody would be affected, it would be me. And at the present time, I don't have any issues. And I know that if I ever did, I feel comfortable speaking to Jen and Brian. Okay?
Thank you.
My name's Annie Dress, and I have known Brian and Jennifer for decades. Before they opened Joy Face, and I live across the street. I actually wrote a short thing. Their staff is diligent about respect for our community, noise, and especially safety, which is super important, and I expect no less from 102 Avenue C. As a small business owner myself, their effort to open a cafe presents a new opportunity for all that have struggled to survive during the pandemic and welcomes. The benefit of an employee community and small business survival outweighs the complaint department. Thank you.
I live at 237 upstairs, and I'm cool with it as long as there's not too much noise.
Thank you. Thank you for keeping it brief.
Hi, I'm Samantha. I also am a resident of
Did you
230.
sign up?
What?
Did you sign up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Samantha Walter.
Okay.
Resident of 230 7th Street. I've lived in the building for over 3 years. I've really enjoyed Brian and Jen as business owners and fully supportive of the space that they've created. It's really welcoming. They're promoting inclusivity and really wanting to be a part of the community rather than just a business that's supportive of others. So fully supportive.
Thank you. It says my name is Amelia. What's your name?
Hi, Marcel Roshan. I also live in the building. I've been doing it for about 6 years. Just to give you an example, the business before that was there was extremely loud. When they came in, the noise stopped. You could actually hear all the, I live in the 4th floor, and you could hear it before they came. When they got here, it's nice. They are very respectful, kind people. I met them too about a year and a half ago. And anything, if I had any doubts, but yeah, these are very kind people. If I would have to choose, it would be them as the next people that raise a business in the community.
Thank you.
This is the person who's,
Thank you so much.
Susan.
Susan?
Susan. Question?
Oh, do you have any hand sanitizer?
Pardon?
Hand sanitizer?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So it's 4 building residents and 1 across the street resident. And what are our belongs to?
Are there more people here? Any building residents? That's all building residents. I thought it was in the air. Everybody else is in the air.
Everybody else is in the air. Those in there? No.
Okay. All right. We're gonna be here like all night.
Are you going to say you want to just want them to just come up and say who they are? And we just say they support it?
Yes, yes.
So let's get Hawaiian now.
Yes. Who's the next person?
Can we get people lined up? Because you want to do that?
I just need to know.
Is there a way to just take a cab like we usually do? It'd be faster. That's all we ever do.
No, I know, but I feel like they come here. I don't want to totally give them a chance to speak there. All right, who's the next person? What's your name?
Hi, I'm Christine Eric, so I live a block and a half away, and I'm really looking forward to them opening the restaurant. I'm walking by there all the time with my dog, and it's really nice. Yeah.
Hold on, Christine. I'm just looking.
Eric, ARAX.
Did you sign up?
I did.
Yeah, on the chat.
ARAX. I signed in.
Did you sign up a sheet like this?
No.
Can you sign up for one of those? Yeah. All right, next one. Yes, make sure that everyone signs.
David Carnevali. I'm a journalist. I have early shifts. If there were problems with noise, I would speak up. I live 2 buildings away from Joy Face. Never had an issue. Great guys, great operators. They keep the corner clean. It was actually pretty bad before they came in. So I'm hands for it.
Did you sign up? Did you do one of these forms? This form?
Yeah.
David, you said?
Yeah. Maybe that's what I could do.
And where do you live?
23676. 2 buildings away.
Okay, so. All right, next one.
All right, I'll keep it short. My name's Austin Walker. I've lived in the community for 5 years. I'm a business owner myself, and I think that people's attention matter, and Brian and Jen sell inclusivity in community. And I think it's very applicable. I think if other things there, I think it would help the community a lot.
Thank you.
Sorry, you should move this over. People can use it pre-post.
Pretty big. I'm Brian Griffith. I'm on 96 Avenue C. So we live above the restaurant that they're trying to get into. My bedroom faces Avenue C as well. So then our entire unit does. They're great neighbors. We love Joy Face. There's not an issue with noise. I would know it. My window faces it. So when we heard that they were taking over the space, we were really, really pleased, and we certainly hope to see it go through.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi,
My name is Jules Mahan. I also live at 96 Avenue C. Same thing, Joyface is they've just been wonderful neighbors. They keep everything really clean on the block. We've never had a problem with noise. My room also faces the avenue. They've also been extremely cautious with COVID to make sure that, the community stays safe and that they can open safely. And they've just been lovely to live near. So we'd be thrilled if they can take over and continue to build more community on Avenue C.
Next.
Hello, my name is John Young. I live on 300 East 6th Street, apartment 4. And I've lived in the East Village for the past 4 years. And I've been familiar with the ownership, the Joyface, and the staff since they've been open. And I've had the opportunity to actually play music around the area and get to know a lot of different owners and staff around the area. And this really is a top flight organization. And when we heard that we had an opportunity to see them expand, I just wanted to make sure that I spoke out, as they've really been a great addition to the community.
Will you keep the speeches
Right,
please?
Next. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Zach Mack, 394 East 8th Street, apartment 6E. I'm here in support of Jen and Brian. I've known them since I've been an East Village resident for going on 15 years. I spent a decent amount of time on the block where Joyface operates, and Jen and Brian have become fixtures in the neighborhood. They live nearby. I've counted on them for problems in the past. They're reliable people. The neighborhood, I feel like, has lost certain things over the last few years, and these guys have brought something back to it that makes it feel more like a community again. And I'm happy to support them and have them in operations near us.
Thank you. Next.
Hi, my name is Stella Boonshoft. I live on 604 East 9th Street, number 3. Born and raised New Yorker. I've lived in the East Village since 2012. And there's no one who embodies meeting New Yorkers where they're at with beauty, joy, and resilience like Jen and Brian. I'm excited for another neighborhood restaurant to have some relief and some fun after COVID in a safe way by people who prioritize safety and community and vaccine mandates. Since they reopened, having a safe place to gather is super important. I'm working with the New York Civic Engagement Commission right now, planning a People's Festival this month. That's prioritizing beauty and joy. Sorry?
Susan, how much talking do you
I'm
want?
going to be repeating myself.
Yeah, we're timing them. They're being timed. They're being
My
timed.
time's done. I'm all done. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
If we're timing them, we shouldn't be interrupting them. I also question why the need to have so many minutes of the same testimony. I question the need for the testimony.
Listen, David, we let everyone speak. That's what we're doing.
Okay, I'm sorry for being a.
I know, but people put in opposition. Next.
Hey guys, I'm Colby Smith. I'm 199 East 7th Street, 2C. I've been here for about 5 years, so before Joyface opened. One big thing I've noticed since they've come in is this sense of safety all throughout Avenue C. I've had the great pleasure to work with them with the Trevor Project, Rainbow Railroad, and we've raised over thousands and thousands of dollars to give to charity, and having them the opportunity to expand their business and kind of help the community kind of grow even more is something I'm really looking forward to, and I really hope you guys do as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next.
Hello, everyone. I'm Valerie Levine. Just want to make 2 very quick points. The first being that they've created an incredibly safe space for the LGBTQ community, which I am a part of, and I definitely did not have a safe space before. The second being that I know Jen and Brian. They're 2 of the most kind and genuine humans you will ever meet, and they truly care about their community and are incredibly empathetic and care about what others think. So that was it.
Thank you. Thank you. Next.
Hello, everyone. My name is Evan Cosgrove. I am a resident of 196 Stanton Street in the Lower East Side.
I just want to come here quickly to speak about this situation at hand. Overall, in my experience with the two owners and working and being at their location, it has been one of the spaces that, from the bottom of my heart, living here for the past 2 years, has been one of those accepting spaces I've been in my entire life. It's a place that's so respectful of all people in the community. You walk in, you feel like it's almost like a living room. All the people that work there are people that are just so respectful of not only the people inside, but also people outside and the rest of their community. So I just want to say that from my understanding of that, I know in the future, with whatever residents they open up, they are going to do great things and have that same exact value system in whatever opening in the future. So thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, next.
Hello, my name is Carter Wilson. I'm actually the manager of Joyface. I live in CB3 in the Lower East Side on Pitt Street. I've been with Joyface since its inception. In my 20 years in the service industry and the last 6 in the East Village in New York, Jen and Brian are the most receptive, benevolent, communicative owners I've ever dealt with. And it blows my mind that that they're such wonderful people, and I was blessed with such an excellent job. So.
Thank you. Next.
Hi, I'm Morgan. I'm looking to buy in the neighborhood that their current buyers and the new restaurant might be. So thought I'd swing by, see what it was all about. I also know of Morgan, the chef that they're hiring, based on taking clients to his previous restaurants he worked at, and think he's an amazing chef, and this would be an amazing contribution to the neighborhood.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, good evening. My name is Richard Lang, and I've been living in New York since 1999. I've lived in the neighborhood since about 2002. I'm a lawyer. I've known a lot of places in the neighborhood since I moved in, a lot of them bad and noisy, and others great. I can say that Jen and Brian's bar and the way that they operate a business falls into the really great and respectful category. I don't drink a lot, but many nights I pass by there or near there on my way to the grocery store, and the noise is not audible to the neighborhood. I think they've had a lot of experience in the restaurant industry, Brian in particular in the Hamptons, he knows it well. I think you can trust what they say. I have full confidence in them to enhance the neighborhood at a time when a lot of businesses have been forced to close. They've kept theirs open at great cost to them, I might add, and kept their employees employed. So I just leave you with that. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Next.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name's Joe Shortino. I'm a member of the community as well. I've attended Jen and Brian's establishment for a couple of years, and just want to speak on just 3 things. One, their investment in the community, employing local workforce, ensuring safety during COVID, and really creating a mom and pop run atmosphere. I worked for the president's office now the last 10 years in emergency management, and understand how hard it is navigating government, working to ensure a healthy, safe, positive environment. And I think they really want to work and take this chance to really enhance Avenue C and 7th again with the new establishment. So thank you.
Thanks. Next.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Gabriel Paredes. I'm an LAS resident for 15 years over at 273 East 7th. Most recently, I'm over at Spytown for the last year, but I've known Jen and Brian for about 3 years now, and I've seen them invest in the area pre and post COVID. And I'm excited to see them get another space so that they can continue to do the same. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else? Austin, Colleen, Morgan. Is Morgan the chef?
Yes.
Okay, we don't. But just yeah. Okay. Dan. Sorry. Did you sign up?
No, I got some.
What's your name?
John, yeah.
You sign up on one of these forms? Do you sign up? Right. Did you sign the new?
I'm gonna sign.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. My name is John Gatton. I'm the landlord of the building for 7 years. I bought the building before Brian and Jen were the owners. They had a lot of trouble with the prior owner of the bar. Very badly managed, a lot of noise outside to all kinds of hours. I used to be in bed, I get texts and phone calls at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And since Brian and Jen came in, there's been nothing short of wonderful. They are very considerate people. They are not about making money on the last penny. They have a lot of consideration for the neighborhood, and they try to do the best they can to keep things orderly. I know that they hire a lot of security guards and try to do the best they can to maintain whatever is going on front of the place.
Are you the landlord for what?
230 7th Street.
There's a sheet by the water bottle over there. So hold on one second. Okay, what's your name?
I'm Mandy Stoffel.
Okay, go ahead.
I've known Jen and Brian since March of 2019. I'm a manager of several establishments in the West Village. And between both neighborhoods, there's a lot of things that happen. Lots of young people, lots of shenanigans that can happen. The beautiful thing about Joy Face is that it is a very welcoming space. It is also a space that works to end negative connotations in the neighborhood. I've been there several times in which someone's acted up, whatever. They're the first people to defend their patrons who are acting respectfully to others, including outside. They also work very hard to maintain the curfews and all the other things that come along with owning a business on Avenue C. And frankly, it's one of those things that you could have someone in there that actually runs a poor business, or you can have people who listen to the concerns of the neighborhood, do what they can to maintain the concerns of the neighborhood, and also offer a space, loving, welcoming space for a neighborhood that is continuously growing, thriving, and changing. And that's what they do. They do it best.
All right then. Okay. So hold on, please.
It sort of says it all. Yes, why are there so many people here? Why are they talking? This is what it's like at the bar. It's a lot of people who come in, there's a lot of aggression, there's a lot of drama. This is a microcosm. Oh, what is it? Sorry. So my name is Diana. I've lived on 7th Street for 27 years. I have 2 children. I'm a big part of the community. I work in community gardens and schools on our street. And I want to say that we've had a lot of problems with Joy Face over the couple of years that they've been there. There have been long lines. They've put speakers on the sidewalk. We've had problems getting those speakers off of the sidewalk. And at the moment, there's a lot of garbage, piles of garbage, rats. And whenever we've interacted with them, we've always had to call 311. Then we've had to get the precinct police involved. The community board has been involved a lot of times. And we've had to get help from each other to deal with it. The owners of Joy Face have a very strong sense of entitlement. And they feel very entitled about the street and about their bar. They seem very unwilling to acknowledge that there are noise problems and crowd problems, and that it is a problem for the neighborhood and for the people and the families who live in the neighborhood, and it's a problem for people in the building as well. The point that I want to make here is, in 30 seconds, that the owners of Joy Face do one thing, say one thing, and they do something else. They said that they were going to be a neighborhood bar, and they're not. It's a nightclub. And my concern and the concern of people in the community is that their restaurant is going to become an extension of the nightclub. And I believe that it's just going to be a larger, louder, aggressive, more chaotic Nice space, thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll try this. Okay. If you are here to speak to this item on Zoom, please raise your Zoom hand, just like in the old times. I could just call. Please raise your Zoom hand. Jordan Larson, you have a minute to speak. I'm about to unmute you. Hold on. Wait to do on that.
On the remote, yes,
Yes, Jordan, do you want to hold a second? There we go.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Jordan.
Oh, hi there. I live at 225 East.
Hold on. Unmute. It is.
Hello?
Hello? Oh, there you go.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
I live at 5 East 7th. I also work on the block of Avenue C between 6th and 7th. And I feel safer in the neighborhood because Joy Face is there. And I am absolutely in favor of this expansion. And I'm so grateful that they are perhaps going to open this bar or this restaurant next door. I think they're the perfect tenants for it.
Thank you.
Are those, did they sign the membership?
Next, we have Jack Warner. You are now unmuted.
Hi, I also live at 225 East 7th, so just right across the street from Joy Face. Also, huge fans of the bar. Huge respect to the people who run it because I know they do it with respect for the community, like almost everybody here has said. And very supportive of this new project they're launching. I think it'll be a great addition to the community on 7th and C.
Thank you. Next, we have Lennis Meager. You are unmuted.
Hi there. Ditto. I live at 325 East 8th Street, so I live in the community as well. Ditto to what everyone has said in support of this license being granted. Brian and Jen are absolutely amazing members of the community and amazing neighbors. They're hyper responsible operators of their business, and I just totally support them getting this license because I think it would be an excellent addition to the community and would just add an extension of safety on the block.
Thank you. Next, we have Deborah Lee. You are unmuted. Oh. You're unmuted, Deborah.
Yes, hello, thank you. I've already submitted my objection to their license. I have a letter from another tenant in 230 East 7th Street who is ill. So I'm going to quickly read this. This is from Carla Savoy. She has been living in the building for over 27 years. Dear Community Board 3, I'm writing to object to the acquisition of the liquor license for Avenue C Hospitality at LLC 102 Avenue C DBA Joyface. I'm a resident of East 7th for 27 years. I've been impacted negatively by Joyface and the Austrian restaurant that held the space at 102 previously for 9 years. Her main concern here is that there's an outdoor space in the back of that restaurant. Edie and the Wolf had an outdoor cafe, which was a dangerous fire hazard. And nothing was ever done about this. And we're lucky that we had no Happy Land incidents there. The cafe was extremely noisy, and every evening I had to avoid my bedroom unless I wanted to share nonstop celebrations from this outdoor cafe.
Thank you, Deborah.
Sorry, okay, so.
Thank you. Can you wrap it up? Justin, you have your hand raised. You are now speaking for a minute.
Great, thank you. I just want to echo and piggyback on what everybody has said. I think Joyface is really a gem in this neighborhood and like to support Jen and Brian in their new endeavor here.
Thank you. Okay. Matthew, you're unmuted. Please, you have your minute.
Hi, everybody. Matthew Piliero. I live at 199 East 7th Street in the co-op there. I believe that Jen and Brian are extremely responsible owners, and I support their application and hope that they are able to open a restaurant.
Thank you. Okay. That is it. That's gonna be like 2 minutes.
Yeah, all I want to say.
Go ahead.
All I want to say is that in addition to these speakers, just remind you that we have the 230 petition signatures. I've been doing this for 20 years or more, and I think I can only think of 2 or 3 other applications that I've had where more people have come out in support. You know, you try to get people to come to support, and they think it's great. They say, I can't wait for you to open, but they're not going to spend 2 hours sitting at a community board meeting. To get 25 plus people to come here, all local, all to speak so well. And I mean, I was even impressed by what they said about my clients. And I think it's overwhelming their support. If this place was the problem place that 2 or 3 people have said that it is, you would not be getting 20 people like this saying that it's fabulous. So there's a disconnect here, and the disconnect doesn't make sense. So we look forward to your support.
What? Do we typically hear closing arguments? Come on. This is 25 minutes of excessive testimony. It does not predispose me to support it, I will say. I also can't find reason to not support it, but I really want this to stop if we can do that.
It's up to
it is, how do I say it? It is monopolizing my time at the time of anybody who does not come to speak for this item.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. We're going to move into committee discussion now. Does anyone have any thoughts about this?
I actually had a similar experience with these bar owners that were sort of funded and the very rest of the world gone. So all this seems genuine to me. And we'll say that is a pretty overwhelming amount of support. So I actually don't see an issue that's glaring.
So my concern would be if it's going to be an actual restaurant, why 1 a.m. and 2 a.m.?
I agree with you. I think it should be 1 a.m. too.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be too.
12 a.m., 1 a.m. if it's a real restaurant.
For the community, yeah.
Any opposition, any thoughts about that? No?
Yeah, I'm pro that. You don't want 1 a.m.?
I would say 12 a.m. during the week, 1 a.m. on the weekends, if it's really a restaurant.
Yeah. I'm pro that as a concept, as a sort of like a mitigation between long-term residents and newer residents. I happen to know the applicants as well peripherally. I've had nothing positive experiences with them. That being said, am I allowed to dress way at the front? Am I able to do that?
Sure.
Just because I think it's only fair that, you know, I want to ask, this was overwhelming, but have you, because your voice was so obviously contrary to everything else, have you had the opportunity to speak to the operators?
Yes.
Okay, so you were given the opportunity to address it and you felt like your
I wasn't necessarily given the opportunity. I went to them and shared something.
Sure, so anyway.
Oh, sorry.
Like, no, they didn't walk away from you. You were able to contact them, communicate with them.
Yes, to no avail. That's why we've had to involve the community board, 301. We've been in contact with Sean Walsh, our community officer. We talked to them, but they won't budge. It's not until they're really pushed to the very end that they'll do something about the lines or the music or the noise or something. So they're pretty stubborn. They're hard to communicate with and they're hard to,
Would you consider them better or worse operators than what was there before?
Is that a valid question?
Because what comes after, what comes in that place. So if you think that they're better than what preceded them, maybe the devil, is best.
I don't think that they're telling you the truth about what they're doing. They're running a nightclub and they're planning to expand their nightclub to the space next door.
Whether or not that is true is not what we're allowed to, you know what I mean? Like we are only allowed to work within the confines of the narrow legality we have, which is the application, this is what we see, this is what we can suggest. And I understand your saying completely, sorry. That's just not something we're allowed.
See the question again, I'm not sure what it was.
I think we're good.
Sorry.
That is 1 hour.
All right.
Can I make a proposal on ours?
You can make a proposal.
We would agree to close the party on Sundays. We would agree to give up the 2 a.m.
I can offer an explanation. I don't know. We have a lot of friends. We expect to be an industry location with a lot of chefs.
I know, we hear that a lot.
Yeah.
We hear that a lot.
Even like a larger party of 6 or 8, just the mechanics of the business, I'd have to stop seating at 8 or 9, which, because I wouldn't be able to have it out by 12. That's my only concern.
Okay.
I would like to address some of the issues that just came up. Sure. The community board was involved. When I have to be involved for weeks on end because I cannot resolve a situation, and I do try and resolve situations. And I was privy to text back and forth. I know that there were requests. And after weeks, the situation was not resolved. As was mentioned, they were going to come back until the shutdown to try and have the stipulations changed. We never in residential street or under residence allow lines outside. The whole point is keep the business inside. This business, so in talking about how good, I don't know these people. They may be wonderful people inside, but I want to say from a community board standpoint, please remember that the stipulations were broken. And when they were found out they were broken, they did not immediately remedy it. And we still have the same problem. I could not resolve the problem. So I think that's really important. I'm not saying you shouldn't give them a license, but I think when you're looking at stipulations for them, remember what happened before and how do we know the stipulations are going to be kept this time.
Okay. And Nancy, this is Strasbourg. I'm just interested where how far we are from the break. Yeah, so I would suggest that we do 12 a.m. during the week, 1 a.m. on the weekends. This is a transfer, as we know, it's almost certainly going to be approved with SLA. It's currently licensed. It's gonna get approved almost certainly. There's no, although we've had community board problems, there's no adverse SLA history that these applicants have. So I think if I had to guess, they're gonna get approved regardless. But if it's truly going to be a restaurant, if we don't want it to become an extension of what sounds like an enjoyable but problematic business next door, I would suggest 12 a.m., 1 a.m. So let's do a straw poll. Who agrees with that for the hours?
What Susan said, I mean,
Plus,
it should be 12.
I want there are people who come in supporting the business. And yet, we do not see people from the neighborhood who really been here for 20, 30, 40, 50 years on that line. I don't see anybody from 102. I don't come in 100 Avenue C, 96 Avenue C, 95, 97, and 99 Avenue C across the street. I don't see any of those people that been here for 50, 60 years, right? I might end up work on the lesser hours because of what was mentioned. But definitely what Susan says is what I experienced in that block. 100 Avenue C is a building I renovated. And building across the street is where I work with the housing authority to develop those buildings. I've been here since 1976, so I know all the businesses before you and before that and before that. I know all of them, and there's always been a problem. So the point is, I sit here sometimes and people try to make it look like we really on this committee have to take what is said as if we don't live here also. So I just want to say that because I have to know that I see the people that actually built this neighborhood, who improved the neighborhood so that bars like this could move into the neighborhood, that an outreach be made to them also. Get their thoughts and get your approval. Okay? And I've sit on this committee for years, and I just want to say that. It might come up 2 years, but this is a neighborhood that I know, that I grew up with. I'm not from this country, but this is where I grew up with. And so that I don't want to have a bar and it's a so-called restaurant, and then sooner or later they merge into some kind of situation. And that's what I would like not to see. Okay?
Okay, so what,
And I would say that you can call the questions and we'll see.
okay, well, what hours did you use? 12 a.m. all nights or 12 a.m. night? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said, which one? Yeah. Okay. Certainly.
The least possible.
The
The least possible hours. I'm not sure, I heard a few things.
I think that the sort of options on the table are 12 a.m. all nights or 12 a.m. during the week, Sunday through Thursday, or Sunday through Wednesday, 1 a.m. Thursday to Saturday.
And honestly, midnight, all nights.
I agree with
If we're doing it based on poker.
Will be.
I'll take midnight, 1 a.m.
We will do it.
Oh, because we could go to the SLA and fight it.
Well, excuse me. Could you ask them as part of the stipulation, what they would do to not have any noise on the street? I'm saying, to not have noise and no crowds on the street.
I think what I can say is that this is a different kind of venue. So it's a full-service sit-down restaurant.
Well, no, I understand. No, that's not what I'm asking. I want to ask what the stipulations are.
Stipulations. I think with this one, we can stipulate whatever you want. It will be a full-service sit-down restaurant. The background is a bowling. So you can take your number and call there. Yeah, it's reservation. People come, there's absolutely no lines. There are no lines in restaurants. Joy faces a bar, different kind of venue. People don't wait in the line outside a restaurant. If it's full and they don't have a reservation, they'll either be told they can't come tomorrow night. We'd love to see you another time. Or give us your number, and if the table opens up, we'll send you a text.
I understand that from you. I don't understand that from them because you're not there tonight with them.
Okay, I don't want to get into back and forth about this. Susan, if we deny this, or sorry, if it's effectively if they don't sign the stipulations, because we feel strongly that they should be closing at 12 a.m. if it's a restaurant, what's our chances of that solving?
I would say it's kind of 50-50, but I would also say dealing with complaints, that the most important thing is to not have any noise on the streets. Which means, like I would put in the stipulation about the reservations, that kind of thing, and that they will not have anyone waiting outside, not just wait lines, There'll be reservations only, and they will not be having people in there.
Say reservation only, but we definitely can agree to anything else that's not having people.
He's saying that you couldn't do allow logins, but like they would, you'd have to, but we would stipulate that you would need to text them, they cannot.
Yes,
Yeah, I would-
reservations.
Absolutely.
text.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be behind reservations, though. I think that's.
No, I
No,
agree, I changed, if
I
they
just
will
make the business
text,
that much
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
they will not have people waiting out.
Absolutely.
No, just for that.
Oh, all right, so what do we think then? He's saying that he's not gonna sign, you won't sign it if it's not at least one.
They don't sign, they don't sign. They sign.
All right, okay. What?
I was gonna say that if we set up stipulations and he did not agree to them, basically the SLA that takes that, and we have very strongly said something such as we want to close by midnight, an SLA typically is going to pick up all of the other stipulations and make their determination about, we say midnight, they say 1 AM, okay? I don't think that we risk a full body of stipulations by pushing the envelope a bit on the closing hours and getting them not to brief. Unless, maybe.
No, I think, we certainly
disagree with you.
we definitely recommend that.
So you want,
Definitely
you want to do one.
Michelle, this is not on us.
If they want to go somewhere, don't go somewhere. That's it, this is not on us.
Okay, all right, so let's just do a straw poll then. Who would go for 1 AM all nights? Who would go for 1 AM all nights?
Yeah, with all the stipulations involved, sure.
Okay,
Just like.
so here's my concern, is that the SLA will not pick up on like reservations or texting only. That's gonna have
You
to.
think it's better.
I think we should
I
stay
don't think so,
calm
yeah.
and not make an excuse for what the SLA is.
Okay. Well, at the very least, I think we're gonna be split then, because I three and three, so it's gonna have to go to the full board.
As long as it very strongly says what we say about there'll be full food service and all hours of within whatever.
But like they didn't do it before, they're gonna do it now. It doesn't matter, it's the same.
No,
It always a no, I'm an No, she just said something, Susan. You didn't listen.
but Susan is also saying
Correct.
that I think if they promise not to have anyone on the street, that they will text them, I'm being loud enough. That they will either take reservations or text them and not allow anyone on the street. I also think that mitigates a lot of the problem that you don't know what the SLA is going to do.
So, all right, so Jamie really needs to leave, so I'm going to say that I will vote for 1 AM all night with the stipulation of that, so that would be 6 to 4 to 2. So 11:30 AM to 1 AM all nights, right? Yeah. It will use a reservations and a texting service system to ensure that patrons do not congregate in front of the restaurant. Okay.
Might just add one thing, like,
Yeah.
find a way to make sure that the Joy Face crowd doesn't inherently just bleed over there, because you'll just find yourself. I know it's super easy to happen, I can just find yourself in a world of isolation, so do something about that.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm gonna
We
say.
actually have security outside every night now because of checking for vaccines. Obviously, there's a benefit to having, it's sort of, we have someone to keep an eye on. That's good.
Okay, all in favor? All opposed? All opposed? Okay, so this resolution passes. Jamie needs to leave, that's why I did that so quickly. I'm gonna read the stipulations out to you. Thank you, Jamie. Operators of restaurants serving North European fare prepared to full service kitchen during all hours of operation. Hours of operation opening no later than 11:30 to 1 AM all nights. It will use the reservations and texting system to ensure that patrons of one or Ave C do not congregate in front of the restaurant. It will close all outdoor dining allowed in the temporary open restaurants program and any other subsequent uses by 10 PM. It will close any front or rear facade doors at 10 p.m. or when amplified sound is playing. Ambient recorded background music only. No alterations about coming back. No pub calls or party buses. No unlimited drink specials. Happy hours until 8. Only. No wait lines. No wait lines means no wait lines. It will conspicuously post a stipulation form beside the liquor license inside the business, and it will provide a phone number for residents to call complaints and immediately address any resident complaints. Thank you. Susan, do you want to say
Yes, could I just ask, so for Joy Fest, going back, could I ask that you work with the residents? I mean, clearly people that go to your bar, love your bar, that's fine. But could I ask that you please work with the residents? And then you really get the noise off the street and keep it inside.
Absolutely. We are part of the community, and I don't, when we see the word set, we're happy to make it different. So I would love to speak to anyone that wants to at any time and work directly. Whether that's the anyone that works, I'm happy to do
No,
that.
I want you to speak directly to them. If I can help at all, I'd be happy to.
And I mean that
But please resolve this. Sorry to run out of
All right, we're gonna, thanks, we're gonna move on to number 6, 21 Essex Street. Okay, are the applicants for number 6 here? Or on Zoom? You're on Zoom, please raise your hand or DM Jeanette. Number 6, 21 Essex Street.
How do I raise my hand?
Bridget and Anna for the business. Alex, who else should I mute as part of the application? Oh, I'm sorry. Hi.
Hello?
Alex.
AH, who's the applicant?
Sorry, that's me. I'm also.
Or raise your Zoom hand or DM
Yeah.
Jeanette.
So
Who's
is that-
the
Can
me,
you-
is all y'all are raising your hand, right?
Can you hear me?
Hold on, he's here. All right, where's Frank?
Can you
I did see
can you
Joel
hear
and
me?
Palillo.
Frank is right next to.
Yeah, Frank, you're unmuted.
I'm not muted. Hi, how are you?
All right, okay, we're here. I'm muting you again. Okay. I don't know if I've ever looked over. No, that's what I'm saying, if someone is actually. Yeah, it's not Frank and Joel. Thank you. That's fine. Okay, so this is an application for 21 Essex Street, doing business with Wealthy Lindon between Hester Street and Canal Street. This is formerly Beverly's. It is 10 tables with 24 seats, 127-foot bar with 12 seats. Asking for hours of operation of 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. There are 16 full on-premises liquor licenses with 500 feet. This applicant has been licensed at the adjacent storefront of 21 Essex Street as Clockwork Bar. And at 2229 East 53rd Street as Strange Love Bar. So Clockwork Bar has an adverse SLA history. They received a civil penalty of $1,000 in February 2017 following an attack on 2 patrons for disorderly premises, altercation, assault, and they received a fine in December 2012 for use of an unauthorized trade name, and they received a $3,500 fine on July 14, 2015 for prohibited sales and other violations. A neighbor shared with the committee some disturbing and violent videos of behavior that occurred outside of the location, including a security guard being attacked by patrons at the bar, a bar patron crossing the street to harass pedestrians, and a stabbing at the bar in July 2021. There were 47 commercial 301 complaints with NYPD action necessary since 2018. We received a report from the 7th precinct, which covers this area, calling this a quote chronic 301 location. There were 45 301 noise complaints and 40 911 calls since January 2021. They took reports for assault at least 5 times, including a bar fight in June 2020, another fight in June 2021. Sorry, 2 bar fights in June 2021, and then someone got stabbed in July 2021. And then there was a bar fight bottle throwing incident where one individual got hit by a skateboard, also in July. Space Block Association wrote in opposition to this. 6 residents of 6 apartments at 19 Essex Street and 6 other local residents wrote to the committee in opposition to this application.
I see what the owner has to say.
I know Susan wanted to talk about this as well. Because of her talking to the 7th precinct, but Frank or other Frank. They're both muted, so we just need to
Which is Frank? Which is other Frank?
well, your client's also named Frank, right?
Yes. Frank, do you want to speak?
Either one of you, go ahead if you'd like to say anything.
Frank.
Yes. So, yeah, there have been a few incidents at Clockwork. There was the main one back in 2017 that the fine that we ended up getting with that was just $1,000 for, that was actually for after the raid and numerous tickets, but we actually came out with just the fire extinguisher thing. So that wasn't, we weren't at blame for that per se, as far as the SLA was concerned. And the past during COVID, there were those 2 fights, but you're talking about 2 groups that were never allowed in the bar. They were both recognized as not a good crowd, and you know, we stopped them from coming in. The bar back note recognized them, and then the bouncer told them not to come in, and they left. We called the police. Didn't get too much help from the police, to be totally honest with you, but we called again and then again, but they went down and smashed the window at Frank's Chop Shop. He has tempered glass. He has safety glass. I have tempered glass. They came and threw a skateboard or something through our window and smashed the door. But you know, they never got inside. They were never allowed inside. They weren't customers of ours. And that's for both instances that happened this year. And it's been difficult with COVID and the outside and stuff. You have a lot of people outside, and it's been difficult. But we've been proactive. I spoke to the police, you know, in 2017, also with Captain Hellman, almost every week. And then I go to the nightlife meetings once every quarter before COVID. And I reached out to the police in this instances too, and I told them what happened and stuff. And we talked about the outside, and you know, you're allowed to keep the outside open until wee hours of the morning. And after the fights, we close it at 10 o'clock. So we try to be proactive. I mean, it is a bar. I understand that, and I understand what's been going on and stuff. And but it's a bar, and we try to work with people in the neighborhood as much as possible. I mean, the landlord gives out my phone number to the tenants upstairs. They come down, they talk to me. I haven't spoken to them about anything negative in years, but we try to work. We work with the police. We work with people in the neighborhood that at least reach out and say, hey, this is what we don't like.
Thank you. Susan, I think you wanted to speak.
Thank you. First, I want to just let you know the outside must be closed by midnight. Not this, you can't keep it open until the hours. So this last week got a report from the precinct. I don't remember the details. I forwarded to Michelle. But first of all, you know, police responding is different than a proven SLA issue. And so the SLA are one thing, but the 7th precinct has had to respond. It's not just 311 calls. It's 911 calls also, and they they detailed a recent problem. So the police do find your business has more issues that they actually have to deal with. I'm not talking about someone saying it's noise, but they're dealing with more real issues than other businesses in the neighborhood.
Thank you. Okay, anyone from the committee have any questions?
Well, I've been here for hours, and I signed up to speak.
I understand. We
Hold
have
on, Amy,
time now.
hold on. Are you ever in the business or around the business? Right?
Yes,
Well,
I'm sorry.
Are you ever in the street?
Yes.
You ever work at night? Because I don't see you there, I pass by all the time. You actually,
I'm not usually there at night. No, I have people that work for me that, obviously, have to do their job. But, my staff, another thing, I have 5 people that work for me that have been with me for 5+ years too. So there is a little bit of trust there. And I have been by at night, of course.
there was a fight last week, you didn't even know about it. There was 2 fights last week, you didn't even know about it. I live in the neighborhood, dude. I go by all the time. If you think that's okay to have a place like that, you have another thing coming, because I don't know. I don't actually think that you actually know what's going on at night. Because I go by there all the time on motorcycle, and the place is out of control. Past a certain time. And there's a lot of residents that are scared next to you and to the buildings on the other side, but you don't care. You know why? Because you're sleeping at night. And I have to go there to make sure everything's fine. Well, I'm not going to do that anymore. I have my friends that live next door to you, and the place is a mess. I don't know if you're smoking, but it's not a good place. And you should just spend a week there at night to see the clientele that you have. And I can't believe I'm the only one that actually told you. And look at you, you look surprised, which is amazing to me.
I'm not surprised. I know my clientele. I know my business. I've been in this business for 30 years. I know what happens in bars, believe me.
You don't live in the neighborhood. No, Joe. Hold on.
I live a 15-minute walk away from the neighborhood. I'm in the neighborhood every single day. Every day I spend 8 hours a day in both my bars. This is my livelihood.
See if you could actually fight your clientele. They don't have to do this every other night. Okay? Forget me this bullshit.
Okay.
No, it's okay. I mean, I'll say I've seen the videos of what's going on.
Yeah, I'm tired of it, man. That's what fucking did.
I know. No, I know. Yeah, just we're passionate, but we cannot curse.
Yeah, passionate. See,
I
so that
understand.
That's okay. That's okay. Throw me out.
So, I mean, I shared the videos of the committee. If you watched them on Vimeo, and I live at Seward Park across the street. So I see it from I can see it from my apartment. I know I agree with Paul. It's really a problematic space, and I mean, I was honestly shocked to see it up close in the videos. Although we can hear it from our apartment. Anyone else from the committee have any questions?
I actually saw this video circulating on Instagram on like an account like Ridiculous New York or characters. It's pretty jarring, and as a young, smaller person, it's alarming, and I wouldn't welcome anything like that anywhere near me. It just seems it seems incredibly unsafe. And like as one could probably cite that it's only a couple incidents on video. Well, I mean, there are a lot of bars and clubs, and this is the first I've seen that's truly alarming.
Yeah, it's a problem.
All right.
Michelle?
Well, I live in the neighborhood.
Would you please?
I live in the neighborhood for 16 years, and I consider myself a person who likes to go to bars and have since I was very young. And the scenic clockwork is truly frightening as a woman. I walk by 2 days ago at 8:15 p.m. And there was an altercation. They were very, very drunk. They were pushing and shoving. I could not even get around them. And when they looked at me, it was as if they wanted to start a fight with me. I had to go all the way across the street to walk home. They have a pen. They don't have a shed. They have a pen in front of the bar. And people stand in that pen and get drunker and drunker and drunker and more hostile. And I don't know what this gentleman thinks his clientele is, but his clientele is very, very dangerous, hostile clientele. And our neighborhood, we're trying very, very hard to keep it it's a very multicultural neighborhood. They also go across the street to Seward Park. And the part of Seward Park that's unlocked, they move over there, they bring stuff with them from the bar. I don't have any pictures of it, but there's a lot of problems with this bar, and I am so opposed to them expanding next door. It's really upsetting and frightening. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess I actually also forgot to mention that I saw myself that throughout COVID, there were people out there all hours and no tables, and tables were a stipulation that you had to have. So it was more of like a pet is a good way to describe it. Okay, can everyone on Zoom who wants to speak, if you haven't already, please raise your Zoom hand, and Jeanette will start running through. Alex, Sam, sorry. Yes. Alexander Olch, you are unmuted.
Olch, I'm a resident around the corner on Ludlow Street and a business owner of a licensed operation on Ludlow Street as well, Metrograph. I'd like to speak on in both regards that, I mean, the numbers just speak a reality here. There's so many complaints. I mean, as an operator, if you have one complaint, everything should be resolved. And I think there's just a disconnect here of this kind of behavior, this kind of danger. I know at least 50 people in the neighborhood who won't actually walk on that side of the street. There's businesses, unlicensed businesses that are next door that I think are losing business. People aren't ordering out from those restaurants because they're scared to go there. I think this is just a major disconnect that reflects poorly on the businesses that are trying to attract people to this neighborhood and the fear that the residents feel. So I strongly oppose.
Thank you. Next, we have Linda Jones. You have 2 minutes to speak. You may unmute.
Okay, I think I unmuted. I am a member of Space, and I obviously support the Space position on this that Emma will tell you about later. I just want to say a little word on behalf of the Seward Park Co-op and the folks who live, whose windows face toward 21 Essex Street. They are miserable most nights from the noise there, and I think that we should consider that. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. Next, we have Tamara Daly, Tamar. I don't see her hand raised. We'll come back to you, actually. Let's go with Bridget Bosworth. You are unmuted.
Hi, thank you. I'm also a resident of the Seward Park Co-ops. And I just want to say that I support the position of Space. And I'm very opposed to expansion of this liquor license. Thank you.
Yep. Next, we'll have Alex Hovnanian.
Thanks. Yeah, sorry, there are two Alexes on the call, which makes it complicated. I think a lot has been said before. Unfortunately, the violence is very real, and this is a family building. My sister used to live above me, but she moved out a month ago because of the violence at Clockwork. So I feel relatively safe, but for sure, I think if you're a woman living in this building, you don't. And look, I'm all for bars. I grew up here and I went to the bar that was at this place before it was Clockwork. I think it was called White Star. So I love bars. I love bars in this neighborhood in that exact spot. And unfortunately, this bar is just scared. That's all I have to say. And I guess we're just talking about the other establishment, but I'm also sort of concerned about the current. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will have Emma Colbert representing Space.
Good evening. My name is Emma Colbert. I am speaking on behalf of the Space Block Association. I'm the president. We have been a block association unofficially since 2006 and officially registered with CB3 since 2013. A number of people on the board know me and know our block association and know that we have worked out agreements with many incoming restaurants and bars, and that we welcome people who are going to add the right kind of component to our neighborhood. About 8 or 9 years ago, when Beverly's and Clockwork, they actually applied at the same exact time for a license within the same building. 21 Essex is divided into 2 storefronts. And we strongly opposed it and collected many signatures and were ignored. And we have now seen this turn into one of the biggest hazards in our neighborhood and blights in our community in terms of safety and being able to raise our families. I have an 11 and 13-year-old 2 boys who are just starting to step out on their own, gain autonomy. I can't have them walk down this street. It's not possible. I regularly walk to the other side of the street, as do almost everybody who lives in this neighborhood at this point. This operator's obviously out of touch. He's obviously not hands-on. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the number. I mean, we have a paper trail of the number of 311 calls depicting what's happening on this street, as well as a number of videos showing the egregious behavior that's coming out of Clockwork. So the fact that they want to expand is mind-blowing to me. We strongly oppose this, and we hope that you are going to listen to the community. And we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Marcel Roshan. You are invited to speak for 2 minutes. Marcel?
Hi, could you hear me? Hi. I have lived in the area for 15 plus years, and I live very close by, and I absolutely always avoid that corner. It's absolute pandemonium, that 21 Essex Street area. It's very dangerous, chaotic, and reckless, absolutely reckless. And it's obviously all caused by the Clockwork establishment. There are simply just way too many other bars and liquor licenses back to back within that area. So it's a chain reaction. But this area is far beyond, I have to say, the worst. And there's just any lack of peace and quiet for the residents and for just any pedestrian walking. It's beyond. And I think that we have already lost our sidewalks. We have lost our streets, and we keep losing our peace and quality of life due to these establishments, anything goes forms of operating. And the 311s help up to a certain amount, but you know, they just get tossed. So ultimately, I think once you let these things go in place, they're really hard to curve back. So I absolutely oppose. Thank you. Thank you.
We have one more for the group.
Who is it?
Yeah. Okay, Carol, you are now recognized to speak for 2 minutes, please.
I'm Carol Bankard, and I'm a resident of Seward Park across the street, a cooperator, and I support Space and our concern for this Clockwork. It's dangerous, I don't like it, and I'm afraid to. Thank you.
Thank you. We have one more raised hand from the Essex Street residents. You are now recognized to speak for 2 minutes.
Hi. I have to speak in anonymity because of my fear. I live and represent some other residents in a neighboring building. We don't have the luxury to cross the street. I've had a death threat from a patron. I've had people run past me with knives, chasing other patrons. These are patrons of the bar. These aren't groups of people randomly stopping by to fight. These are people drinking at the bar, using drugs at the bar, buying drugs at the bar, fighting just to fight, brutal fights. Who's responsible when someone dies? Who's responsible when a resident passing by is cut or sliced or worse? I oppose.
Thank you. Frank, do you want to speak? I'm sorry, there's one more person that wants to speak. Sure, okay. Go ahead. Home base, you are now recognized for 2 minutes.
Hi, can you hear me? It's Tamara Daly from the Orchard Street Block Association. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. I appreciate it. I'm actually supporting all the other residents' concerns who just spoke. Orchard Street Block Association is 110% opposed to any more licenses in this area. This is the worst offender at this location. The owners of 21 Essex Street, obviously bad operators. We all know that. But there is a bigger issue in the area, which is that there are at least 24 or more full licenses within 500 feet of the addresses of these businesses. So that's actually adding to creating a very dangerous and oversaturated situation for residents that you've heard speak about. So I just wanted to add our voices to everyone else's and let you know that there are way too many licenses in this area. And in particular, this is an egregiously bad business. And supporting this, I don't even understand how this could be supported at all with any hours in this location with this operator. And I just wanted to say that. Thank you very much.
Okay, Frank, do you want to say anything? Frank,
Michelle, Michelle, I was going to ask you to please be good enough to forward the videos that you have tomorrow so I could take a look at them myself.
Sure. Okay. All right. We've heard from everybody. So I think this, I'm going to deny this. I think that should be obvious to me. I don't know if anyone else has any other feelings about it.
The only other feelings I had is to deny this, but is there any way we could ask if SLA because of all this stuff to remove the license from that space?
And we'd have to submit an SLA complaint.
What was your comment? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Could we ask the SLA to remove the current license from the work? We could.
It's a long process. Based on the activities that.
I mean, I would suggest that, Susan, correct me if I'm wrong, I would suggest that people submit complaints to the SLA. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you can very easily submit a complaint to the SLA. I think it's. Yeah, it's like sla.ny.gov/file complaint, but I'm sure you can Google it and find it. It's very easy. I would suggest that people do that if they feel strongly about this.
I can also, I would continue also with the precinct, because they're going to be the immediate responder, and the precinct is also going to hear complaints.
Okay, yeah, I'll just repeat what Susan said. So she said, please continue with contacting the precinct with your problems because they'll be the immediate responders to any issues that are at this location. But you can, sort of, and of course, we always ask that you forward information to the community board office so that we can work with you in conjunction, or Susan can work with you in conjunction.
So we need to report, excuse me, to the SLA. Anytime, I thought it was only. when
No, you can
license
submit a complaint to the SLA at any time you want online. I mean, the time that you can complain to us is when, I mean, I'm not guaranteeing that anything's gonna happen, but it can't hurt to submit a complaint to the SLA.
If I could say for a couple of years now, I'm saying the exact opposite. I'm not making a difference. Not ever. Okay. Because it is, you must renew a license that is not have problems documented. Always do it real time, do something happens.
Yeah, so just repeat, Susan said, if there's ever a renewal of the license, it's too late. You need to create a record of complaints against this establishment. Unfortunately, the SLA told us that they have like something ridiculous, like 23 investigators, so they're no longer doing proactive, spontaneous investigations anymore. They will only be done if there are complaints made. So I would encourage you to make complaints, strength in numbers type of thing. So I'm going to vote to deny this. I shared the resolution with all the committee members, cataloging all of this that I read through. Disorderly conduct, the video, links to the videos and everything. And I think we have a strong case if the applicant continues onto the SLA to ask for a denial here. I mean, so
Point of personal privilege, would it make any difference if we added a whereas clause that said like community board sees this as a problematic location overall?
Yeah, no,
that would
recommends a denial of the application because yeah, because of the adverse SLA history and police activity at the applicant's current establishment. So therefore be resolved that Community Board 3 recommends a denial of the application for Francesco Stato di Santolo for the premises located at 21 Essex Street, New York, New York, because of the adverse SLA history and police activity at the applicant's current location doing business as Clockwork, located at 21 Essex Street.
A suggestion that you also have many residents complain of feeling unsafe.
Okay.
Because of violence.
Online can't hear.
That's what we need. Susan suggested that we listen here that residents reported feeling unsafe. So I'm gonna put in, whereas the Space Block Association residents, whereas 7 nearby residents, a representative of Orchard Street Block Association and a representative of Space Block Association spoke in opposition to this application because the applicant's current establishment Clockwork creates a dangerous atmosphere for residents.
Can I move to vote on this resolution? I think we're all in agreement.
Okay, any
objections?
Second one of my
I second here.
It's a call to questions.
Okay, David, Train.
Yes.
Jeanette.
Yes.
Michelle, yes. Herman?
Yes.
Paul? Yes. All right, thank you. Thank you, everyone who came to speak on this tonight. Thank you, Frank and Frank. Okay.
Yeah.
Call number 3 because you're supposed to do that first. Are the applicants for number 3 here?
If you're here for application 3, please raise your hand at the Zoom.
Hi, Heather.
Here's the TV over here.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
The applicants for number 3. Heather, I see you're here. Are the applicants here?
Face before Lars.
Frank, mute yourself. Hi, Heather. You're unmuted. Yeah, Heather, is the applicant here?
Which case you calling?
Number 3.
Bridgeview Hotel.
Yeah. Not you, Frank.
Not my
We've got Sam here,
We're here.
and Heather's on as well, and so is Lauren, and so is Ryan from the whole family.
Okay. Okay, great. Hi. Okay, so this is a request for an alteration to the method of operation for the ground floor of an existing full on-premises hotel liquor license at 50 Bowery. That's at Bowery now at the base of the Manhattan Bridge. The location is licensed, it's a hotel license, so we have multiple serving areas. This is for only the first floor, the ground floor, which was previously a restaurant, I believe called Rice and Gold. They're asking to change it to essentially a gaming area. I hope that you guys had a chance to see the pictures. They'll be serving Mexican Latino during hours of operation, which is 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. using the existing food and beverage operation from the hotel. There's maybe 12 televisions used for gaming. I had a question though about the music. You had said that you wanted to have live music. Can you talk about what that is?
Yeah, sure. I can jump in. Thank you for having us. My name's Sam Asfahani. I'm the owner, and this is Claire Kaido, our lovely GM.
Hi.
I've spoken to a few of you already because it's been my phone number in the window. So I think I've spoken to some of you. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Just a quick one on the concept. It's basically a community space for gaming and content creators. So people come together, they play video games, they stream, they create YouTube videos, that kind of stuff. So very much a community networking centric space. It is a membership model. So you can pay $75 a month and have complete access to the space during the opening hours, or you can pay $20 for a day pass. And then both the bar and the live music component that we wanted to talk to are purely secondary entertainment. So we have no interest in doing like live ticketed concerts or being a music venue. It's purely sometimes, for example, we do a Women in Gaming networking event every month, which is about promoting women getting involved in a historically over-dominated male industry. And they recently asked if a female streamer could perform to the network as part of the evening's activities. So the core idea of that would be they come together, they game, they network, they meet each other. The music's purely a secondary part, which currently is not allowed, so we haven't been doing, but would love to do going forward. So that in a nutshell is OS. More than happy. I know it is a new concept. There's nothing quite like this in the country, which is exciting. So more than happy to answer any questions people have. But that's really what we're asking, is to reduce the size of the bar that's on the previous floor plan and move it so that it's out the way a little bit because it's secondary, and have live music or live DJ as a secondary form of entertainment while people are here gaming or networking.
So just typically we don't give like an open-ended, you can have live music whenever you want. Do you have a sense of like what that means, like what kind of live music? I don't like how many instruments, amplify.
Yeah, absolutely. So the example that came up was a musician called Raquel Lilly. She's a gamer and she streams. So that's the example that actually spurred this whole conversation. She is a singer-songwriter. She plays guitar. She normally travels in a three-piece. So she'll normally have light drums and a bassist. And then she sings and plays guitar. We normally wouldn't play it through the house speaker system that pre-exists from Rice and Gold. We kept that audio system. We have not increased it, nor are we looking to. We have two very simple 60-watt amplifier like for our PA system that sit in the middle of our venue, and that's what we would use. So we're not looking to like increase the audio setup that already exists here. We're more than happy to just use what already is installed and left over from Rice and Gold, the restaurant.
Okay. So would you say no more than like 5 times a month?
Yes, I think even that would be more than enough. I would even argue maybe no more than 4 times a month. If you need to restrict us, that's not a problem.
Okay, I don't know if anybody have any questions. Is the intention with these live events to ticket them? I'm sorry, is the intention with these live events to ticket them, or will they just be kind of in the background of part of a larger event always?
It's in the background of larger events. So we'll never ticket a music event. We do ticket some gaming events. We have a capacity here, a COO of 240 people. So we do sometimes ticket like a gaming tournament, or for example, these networking events are sign up. You don't have to pay, but you do need to sign up just so we can ensure that we don't have too many people turn up. So in that sense, there are tickets or signups, but we would never do it for a music concert. It would be for the networking event or for the gaming tournament. And it's just a form of secondary entertainment that would be on at certain times to keep our guests entertained.
Say there is something like this in San Jose, California. I wouldn't say this is like an absolute first thing, but it's pretty cool. No, I certainly nothing here to that end. It's in downtown San Jose. Check it out. Sorry, that was.
And just to clarify, how many events will you be having per month? How many events per month?
If we're defining events as ticketed events, I would probably say in our space, full close of our space where you can only enter ticketed, 1 or 2 a month. There are areas, for example, we have a gaming lounge, like a bunch of PCs. Sometimes we'll run a tournament just on the PCs and you need a ticket to just enter the tournament, but you can still enter the space. So it's like 24 people will have bought a ticket just to play in the video game tournament. Those are probably like 6 to 8 a month.
Okay. Any other questions? Are children allowed in the, or is this an 18 plus, 21 plus location?
So it's all ages are allowed in the space. Yeah, it's open and it's pretty popular with families we found over the last couple of weeks, which is great to see.
Okay. All right. There's one person here to speak. Mitchell.
I'm Mitchell Goldberg, and I'm representing the Bowery Block Association today. I also live across the street from this venue in a building with over 700 families, and it's a building that's been recognized with services for senior citizens because there are so many in the building. And I'm also a public member of the Community Board's Landmarks Committee. You could call it what you want, but it's really a video arcade or a video parlor. But this one is going to be serving alcohol, if you allow it, from 7 a.m. in the morning to 2 a.m. the next day. And as you asked the question, with all ages present. So I hope that you would at very least consider reducing the hours. And it seems like it's a recipe for trouble to have a video arcade and alcohol, especially with these private parties and happy hours that they're asking for. There's no kitchen, and it's bar food that they want to serve. So basically, it is a bar and video arcade. And I hope there will be no music in the outdoor space. Now, this is the 50 Bowery Hotel, and they bring bad actors and bad neighbors. And Susan knows that I've had to call her a number of times because of violations to the stipulations, mainly a live DJ outside on the roof. It's a hotel
owned by the Chu family. And their neighbors in Chinatown. Most of the community organizations in Chinatown have had to protest because the Chu family forced the closing of an iconic restaurant in Chinatown, Jim Farm. It was the only union restaurant for restaurant workers, the 318 Restaurant Workers Union, and they lost their job as a result of the Chu family closing that restaurant.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Mitchell. Okay, any other questions from the committee? And I'll say that this is only about the ground floor space, nothing about their outdoor rooftop. It's not related to that at all. Okay.
Yeah, how's it getting?
It's 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. But we could stipulate service.
Yeah, stipulate service separate from operations.
Yeah. Is there anyone on Zoom that wants to speak on this application, number 3? Barry Patel, T. Barry Patel. Raise your Zoom hand. Okay. Yeah, they already have a full hotel liquor license, it's just a change of the method of operation for the ground floor, which used to be a restaurant called Rice and Gold. They do have a full kitchen. I just forwarded everyone the menu, which they sent to me earlier today. So we could say its hours of operation will be opening no later than 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. all days, but if they always begin serving liquor at 12 p.m. or whatever. Yeah, it's only an alteration. Does anyone have any feelings about, they don't want to make a motion to then add hours service?
I want us to. What time is reasonable for that?
What you just said is reasonable. We'd be happy to agree to 12 p.m. We have no intention of serving in the morning. I mean, I just want to say Mitchell is right. We are a video arcade. We're not hiding that. People do come here and play video games. But you know, I grew up in inner city London before I moved here. So for me, these kind of spaces are places to get people actually off the street and not cause trouble is how I see it. I'd rather them in here with like-minded people, networking and socializing than I would doing potentially other things. But it is right, and we're not going to hide from it. People do come here and play video games. It is part of video arcade, and there is part of bar. We're very strict with our IDing policy. Every order, even if it's a repeat order, if you order more than one drink, we require more than one ID. We also wristband minors so that we know who is a minor in our space. So, but more than happy to agree to stipulations that you require, including if you want us to not do any music till midday or no liquor service, not a problem. We're obviously just want to be good tenants in the neighborhood. And that's the last thing I'd say is obviously OS is owned by myself and a few co-founders. It is not the Chu family. We are tenants in the space, but I appreciate Mitchell's words.
Heather, do you want to say something? Heather? You just have your hand up. Can't hear you, Heather, if you're speaking. No, nothing. No. Right, she's on here. I think it's something on your end, Heather. Okay. Anyway, I mean, I don't have any problems with this if we're gonna say they only serve alcohol from 12 p.m. to 2 a.m.
I think the ticketed events or like events and music should only be after. I don't know what time is.
I don't know why everyone's matters.
We're having those.
Yeah, we're all day. No, yeah, I don't really care. It's a hotel.
Yeah. It's a hotel.
I don't think that kind of thing's like for you to lines out.
Yeah.
So as a head
Yeah, Heather. Wait, Heather, go ahead. Let's see if we can hear you.
Sorry, I tried to. Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. So Sam kind of spoke to some of the things that Mitchell said about the wristbands. and agreed to the hours, but then also just kind of pointing out that like, 60% of their clientele is coming in specifically for gaming. And so there's really kind of a low amount of people coming in to consume. People on average are spending a couple of hours in the space, again, specific to gaming. This isn't a space where people are coming to get intoxicated.
Okay, thanks, Heather. Okay. Any other additions or questions before I move to vote? Okay, I'm going to read this quickly. So it will serve as a gaming establishment within a hotel with Mexican Latino food prepared in a full service kitchen, served during all hours of operation. Hours of operation will be opening no later than 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. all days, but they only serve alcohol from 12 p.m. to 2 a.m. Are you gonna have outdoor dining?
Yes, there is outside seating. There's
I hear you again.
can you guys hear me? Okay. It's 5 tables and 14 seats and like this outside seating that's kind of recessed back. It's like it's kind of like back away from the sidewalk.
Okay, so, it will close all outdoor dining and allow the temporary open restaurants program and any other subsequent uses by 10 p.m. It'll have a closed fixed facade, no open doors, and it will close doors at all other times when there's amplified music playing. It will play ambient background music only, consisting of recorded music created by DJs, live music consisting of no more than 3 instruments and a singer no more than 4 times a month. They have no more than 20 events that can be promoted and or scheduled performances per year. It will not apply for any alterations, so nothing back here. No pub crawls or party buses, no unlimited drink specials. It may have happy hours until 7 p.m. No wait lines. You'll post the simulation forms outside the business, and you'll have a phone number for residents to call.
I think we should consider modifying the phrase no later than 7 a.m.
Yeah,
I think carry that forward, but this is such an early. Should make that and opening no later than noon, maybe. I mean, that's what we want, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I also just want to get clarification on one item.
Yep.
At the beginning, you mentioned the menu, and I didn't quite catch that. So the hotel is going to have the complete food menu. This space itself is going to have a limited menu with a food prep area, but the hotel will be providing the full menu. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But can they order food from the hotel?
Yes, and then they're going to have their own menu and food prep area as well.
One other thing is this precludes them from having to do or doesn't. Well, is it always recorded? That's no recorded means just means no live music. A live DJ is not considered recorded. So a live DJ would be part of live music and sing up.
Live music is separate from DJs, but we would typically say, we can say background music curated by DJ. Okay. All right, any other questions, comments, concerns from the committee? All in favor? All right. Thank you. We'll send you the stipulations for you to sign tomorrow or the next day as soon as possible. Please get it back to us. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay. I need to take a bath. I'll be right back. Is that SLA? Just close that and then.
Yes, so this, yeah, I just left it on the table. If anyone comes, I don't know if you have in here, something public, just have them come up closer to the table, because one, I was roaming around in general, and it's like, it's a bit crazy.
I don't see the issue with having every speaker speak.
Yeah, and that's, we were supposed to have a mic stand, I think they back ordered, of course, everything COVID. But yeah, we want to have like a mic stand over there, so if you're speaking, you have to go there, speak into the mic.
I like the camera angle, I see moving towards the speaker.
I'm
and
trying,
like,
yeah, I'm trying to focus in on, yeah, so we just have them come up there.
Now we don't need someone moving the camera, if we just leave it.
Yes,
seeing
exactly. The entire table, and then you could like move it over to the public. So.
Okay, are the applicants for number 10 here?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, here, okay, great. Thank you for your patience. Your letter. Oh, right here. Okay. You have proof of your posting, the notice?
You didn't get fixed. I think I know.
Hard to see. You know? Okay, thank you. Okay, this is an application for a full on-premises liquor license in the premises located at 235 Eldridge Street. This LNO of 74 people, 10 tables with 42 seats, 1 straight bar with 7 seats. Hours of operation 2 p.m. to 7 all days. There are 15 licenses with 500 feet for the land map. This location was previously licensed as Bob DOB Bar from December 1999 until December 2019, with a currently inactive license, also posted 4 a.m. all night. This location was last heard in March 2015 for a corporate change with complaint. Because of there was issues that residents identified in this particular establishment. The committee passed stipulations asking for additional soundproofing, more security guards, to deal with issues on the sidewalk primarily. I haven't been any 301 complaints here, but it also hasn't been open for a while. The applicants that are coming before us have a adverse SLA history. Okay, so at Niagara, when did you take over Niagara as licensed? When did you take over Niagara?
Oh, I know, right, that, this is a different. Partly is the principal of Niagara.
Oh, okay.
She's one of our companies.
Oh, see, okay.
She's on here, she has COVID, so she couldn't come, but she should come here, so.
I was curious when you took over, because there were, so there's an SLA history at Niagara, that one from February 2018, but they were violations from October 2017, so. Yeah. Sure. Laura, if you would raise your, it's right here.
Can I say something?
Laura, can you tell us when you took over the license at Niagara?
Say that again, Michelle. I'm having trouble hearing you.
Oh,
sorry.
Go ahead, Frank. Sorry.
I'm just going to mention to you, the owner of Niagara is merely an investor in these premises. She's not going to be involved in the day-to-day.
Okay, well, it's still irrelevant. When did she come back?
I'm on and unmuted, and I opened Niagara in 1992,
Okay.
I believe.
There's a corporate change. Is that accurate?
There's never been a corporate change at Niagara. There's been a name change, but not a corporate change. It's been the same corporation since it opened. I believe it was 1992.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm not attributing adverse history to you that's not yours. Okay, so there's an adverse history at Niagara. In February 2019, there was a $2,500 fine for October 2017 violations for having an unlicensed cabaret. $3,000 for sale of alcohol to a minor in November 2017. And $5,000 in February 2015 for violations including failure to conform and refilling contaminated bottles. Also at Dream Baby, is Laura the only one at Dream Baby? Right. So this location at Dream Baby had its license suspended by the SLA in August 2020 because of COVID-related violations. So it had no prior. No, we didn't. Are you sure?
Positive.
No, we haven't had that. Michelle, that's a mistake.
162, 164 Avenue B?
No, the place next door was Maiden Lane, 162 Avenue B.
Okay. All right.
Our neighbors.
Got it. Okay, never mind. Okay, then at Bowery Electric, 327 Bowery, fined $2,500 in February 2019 for disorderly premises. And then, but no adverse history at Berlin at 25 Avenue A. The Eldridge Street Block Association wrote an opposition to this application. 15 members voted against the application because of the applicant's SLA history and concerns about oversaturation of nightlife in the area. Anything I missed? Applicants? No, not yet. I'm gonna unmute applicants or Frank. Do you have anything to add or correct?
No, I'd like my clients to introduce themselves, please, and their experience.
I'm Maria Devitt.
We get the mic over to them. If you don't mind speaking in.
And can you hear me?
It's fine.
So this little space we fell in love with when we were looking around. Actually, the real estate agent that reached out to us, and I've worked in the neighborhood for 25 years. Lived as well. Laura and I opened Dream Baby 9 years ago, and it's a wonderful, easygoing, beautiful little bar. And we really like this space. And Michael and I always wanted to have a project together, and we think this would be the perfect one. We run really sweet, cute little bar. We have a lot of friends in the neighborhood still who haven't moved away and been priced out. We're creative professionals, but we're not in our 20s. We're in our 40s, 50s, and we'd like to go somewhere besides Dream Baby because everything else has been taken over by sports bars and TVs, and just not our kind of thing. And I'm a bar owner. This is my business, and I've been in the neighborhood for a long time. I'd like to continue to stay here. I don't want to have to go to another borough to open a place. This is my community. And we think we'll be an asset to the block. We met with Marilyn Bob, or I did, Michael spoke to him on the phone, to learn about the history of what has gone on at the other space. And it sounds like it was a nightmare, but also sounds like things that very easily could have been mitigated had they had an interested and on-site present owner who actually took concerns seriously. So I do take those things seriously. I have a great relationship with my neighbors. We signed my petition. We're very on top of security presence. In fact, on our block, our surrounding bars on the other side of us at Dream Baby do not have security. So our guys end up having to take care of that whole half of the block because they don't have anybody there. For larger groups, we prevent overcrowding in line on the sidewalk. I make them do reservations ahead of time. We don't take huge walking crowds. We don't want them lingering around after a certain time. And I think one of our biggest assets is that, you know, we have a beautiful bar, but it's casual at the same time. We don't do bottle service. We don't do any of that packing district kind of stuff. And that's why we've been able to have such a great community presence, and people in the neighborhood like to come see us. And we'd like to do the same on this block. Maybe Michael.
No, yeah, that's pretty much it. I worked for Maria for 9 years and Laura for even longer at 6 of wherever it was. Been around for a long time. I don't know. We're just ready to finally open up. We've been looking for a project for 4 or 5 years now, and we fell in love with the space, and we think we'll be a good neighbors to everyone on the block. We're definitely better than what I've heard from the previous owner, and yeah, that's all I have to say.
Okay, any questions from that?
Are you speaking about Green Baby when you say it's a cute little bar? My experience, and I love Green Baby. That's where I go when it's.
I find it look familiar.
I know it's so that's people loving the bar. That place is not quite and quiet. I'm actually a little jarred by the fact that you're representing it that way. During the day, I've seen it during the pandemic for the first time I saw it in daylight. I was like, I can't believe it's like an actual restaurant. But actually, I go when it's midnight. It's pretty loud. It's very crowded. That's super loud. I'm sorry, I'm still speaking. It's super loud. So a little bit it's being represented as quaint, because actually that's the place I go when I want to stay out till late, be crowded, be sweaty around a lot of people. It's like that kind of bar. For anyone who hasn't frequented it recently, I was just there last month.
Again, that's from pretty much 10 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. Our hours of operation, the majority of the week. It's a very mellow.
Unfortunately, we're commenting here about your operations in total. And so I don't think we can ignore what is, I'm sure, a lot of your business, which is the evenings of Friday and Saturday night, which I contribute to a little too much probably. But yeah, it's certainly, I just want to let the committee members know that it's definitely not quaint on a Friday night and Saturday night.
Are you planning to have DJs?
We would have occasional DJs. Right now, like at Dream Baby, 5 days a week, it's just my iPod from 2012 playing. Fridays and Saturdays, we do have DJs, and we would like to have DJs at this place on Friday and Saturday too.
Okay. Any other questions?
Michelle?
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand the structure, like who is connected with this new business. Then I'll speak up. Who's connected with this new business is also connected with Niagara or Bowery Electric or what's now Berlin is, but was Lulu's, I think, in their last iteration. Is there any common?
It's Laura McCarthy.
And how?
Laura is investing in a bar that her longtime employees are opening.
So Niagara's always a problem. The one at 167 or 169 Avenue A is always a problem. Bowery Electric, I mean, it's not a big commercial area, but it's certainly not quiet, and they take over the whole sidewalk at times. So it just seems not to, these are not run as quiet neighborhood bars. I mean, there's serious problems. Please tell me just last week that they still have their eye on Niagara, and they're, dealing with issues there. These are not quiet neighborhood bars.
Okay. Anyone else on the committee have any questions? We're ready to go to the public.
Just going to mention it's a tiny space, and it's not the volume or size of Laura McCarthy's other bars. She's an investor in us. That's her role in this. We're a whole new thing that we're doing together. The tiny space, it's not a 300 capacity place like Bar Electric's more than that. It's 72, and it's mostly seating. So just wanted to mention that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, So is Peter Goldberg here? Okay. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. I'll make this quick. I moved to the neighborhood in 2008. I've always lived and worked in Lower East Side, East Village. I came to work for an artist, had to work at bars. I worked at both Bowery Electric and Niagara for many years, and some other places, and I would have never survived without them. They're centers for the neighborhood, for creative artists, you know, people that are important to the East Village, Lower East Side. These are inclusive and equitable spaces that I support and I look forward and hope, you know, good luck to you guys in the next endeavor.
Thank you. Do you mind, Meryl? What's my first? President Bob?
Yes, my name is Bob Berger. I live at 246 Eldridge Street. And it's another bar. It's another bar. And this is different, as you noted, this has been without a license since November of 2019. So there's no continuation here. There is no transfer. It's over. It just can't be. It can't, how can that be that we can get another license when we already have 3 on the block and we have a 4th, which is Spaghetti Incident that has a wine and beer license. And we like that. It's a great restaurant. And when they come up to get a license, we probably we would support them, which would be 4 different licenses on one block on Eldridge that only has 7 buildings on the block. And as you know, as you pointed out, there was 22 bars within 500 feet. And as their license say, and like the SLA, there's 2 schools within 200 feet. That's what the SLA says. The Academy and the other one. It's what's on the website. Yes, it's around the corner as a crow flies, but I'm just saying there's a school right there that the SLA recognizes. What's on it. So 22 bars within 500 feet. We have 3 licenses, OP licenses. And I just don't understand any kind of public benefit to yet another bar. If you're going to award another liquor license on this block, there has to be a public benefit. And there just is none that we can see. What they have written about is that the only thing I can see on their application is an adult lounge. And that's not a public benefit. 3 liquor licenses already on our block in 22.
Can you wrap it up, please?
Sorry?
Can you wrap it up, please? That was 2 minutes. Can you wrap it up, please? That was 2 minutes. Thank you.
Sorry. So we're just asking to break the community board and the SLA, just break the chain of liquor rents. That's all that's going on here. The ground floors, instead of having creative places or anything, it's just making a lot of money on liquor rents. And of course, this place, the landlord there, it's a rental building, and they actually have to rent out the apartment building. So we're just asking to change all that, break that sort of thing. And one last thing, and I don't think you know about this, the community board. We lost a lot on Eldridge Street because of the Hernandez house and the violence that had happened on this block before. They tore down trees and they put up stadium lighting in the parking lot. We have to live with that forever. There's a consequence when you allow these bars to be on a block. We have to live with that forever. It's just crazy.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. All right, Meryl, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just like to reiterate one thing we have. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'd like to reiterate one thing. We have 7 buildings on one side of the street on our block and 1 building on the other side, which is a 2-story building. And we have 3 liquor licenses and 1 wine and beer license. The liquor licenses, we have 1 really good neighbor, Margotto. The other 2 are horrible. It's the Love 247 and Bomber's room, which was Sapphires. The storefront that the applicants want is 235, which is Bob Bar. horrible, horrible, loud noise, violence, nonstop thumping music, disturbing the neighbors. And we know now that the license is expired, and we're just asking the community board to kind of break the chain of liquor licenses on our block and allow more commercial diversity as opposed to just liquor. That does not improve the quality of life of any of the residents on our block. Michelle.
Yeah.
We asked, is the SLA says the license is inactive. Is it inactive or expired? It's
Right.
I'm looking.
The website says inactive, not expired.
Yeah.
It looks like they renewed but didn't pay the fee. During COVID, the authority was giving people the opportunity not to pay their renewal fee. Because it's got 11/30/19 and license is inactive, that would never be. It would just have the expiration date. So they must have renewed but not paid the fee. And then went out of business.
So does that mean there's a license there or not?
It means there's a license there, yes. It's just inactive.
Can I just also clarify for everyone that the school, the SLA only considers a school within 200 feet if it's on the same street. So we can't talk about the school. The property, the school is on the same street.
The main entrance has to be in the same street.
Not talk about the school in this situation.
Yeah, okay, all right, is Rachel, Russ? Go ahead.
So I grew up between the Upper East Side and Connecticut, and I've lived here for 22 years. These are my friends, and I think that we need to return to artists owning spaces, and these are artists who are owning this bar. It's not going to be a bar full of yuppies, and it's not going to be a bar full of jocks, and it's not going to be that bad environment that it's kind of taken over the Lower East Side. I don't drink. They all know I don't drink, and I still come and hang out with them at bars because I find Green Baby to be a good space to be in when I'm not drinking. I find these people to be the owners, to be people I want to be around when I'm not drinking. So I think that they will contribute to the community. I think it will be a great space to sort of bring these village back to the way it was when I was growing up. That's all. I support it.
Thank you. Remy Bennett? Hold on one second.
Okay, so I live on 249 Eldridge Street, and I've been living above the rumpus room, which Merle mentioned, since 2008, which has been a total nightmare, horrible situation, horrible owners. And I have known Michael for almost 20 years, and Maria, friends of my family, have worked with them. I'm here really to support them as like a character witness, because I know that this new venture is about not what happened in the past, but about developing something new that is respectful of the neighborhood, that's respectful of the community. And I know that from firsthand experience. And from living on the block, I would so much rather have people that I love and trust that respect the community than someone that I have no idea what the behaviors going to be. So when I heard that they were bringing this to you guys, I just thought it was very personal to me, and I just wanted to vouch for them because I've lived with a horrible situation where people are completely disrespectful and are disrespecting regulations, and it's a nightmare. So I believe that if they were there and the community had any problems, they would be listening, they would be there to work with the community. So yeah, I said I'm here to support.
Thank you. What? Okay, yes. Erica Allen, if you'd like to speak, you now have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Hi, my name's Erica. I have lived in the neighborhood for about 16 years, and I've known Mike and Maria for 10 of those years, just about. And I'm here to support. I think that I have seen the way that they've treated not just the customers at Dream Baby and the places that they've worked, but also the neighbors, how they are kind and conscientious and thoughtful and speak to everyone who walks by. They're very familiar with the people who are on the block, who are passing through. They're wonderful, wonderful people. And I know that they'll do whatever they can to be an excellent addition to this block and continue to be very solid members of the community. So I'm just here to express my, unwavering support of this project and wish them the best of luck and hope that the board will support it as well.
Thank you. Frank, do you know when this space license started?
Before November 1st, 1993. It's not subject to the 500-foot rule.
Did you hear that? He said it's been licensed since 1993. Yeah, which means that it's not subject to the 500-foot rule. Which I figured would be the case. So, yeah.
It's not
It's
subject?
Correct. It's a continuously licensed.
Continuously licensed.
Okay. With that in mind,
There's a grandfather clause that says that if a license is active for any amount of time, then it's no longer a grandfather, that's an automatic.
Susan, go.
I do not believe that says if the license is inactive.
For any amount of time, it's inactive.
Okay, do you realize it's still, a license is there, it's not unlicensed.
It hasn't been used for 21 months. Tell me
It's
what
inactive.
the SLA can just say that it changes the law and says, oh, because they didn't pay me, then it's no longer.
Yeah,
That's
actually,
double.
It's actually double.
That's not what I'm saying, it's double.
So the renewal fees and everything about them during COVID has been kind of on hold by the SLA.
Yeah.
They're just beginning to go back to making, Frank, correct me at any time, but I believe they're just beginning to go back to going after people for not paying their fees. Is that correct?
I wouldn't term it as going after. I mean, they gave them the courtesy. I told them it has to be now paid by November 1st. It's not like they're chasing them.
Well, so they're now, it's like paying rent and everything else. They're now telling people not been paying, they have to start paying. So just sort of legally, not having a license is different than having an inactive license.
So this was pre-COVID, and he's out of here. He's
But
left.
if you keep the license, I'm not saying I think that's what the law
George
should be.
lives in California. It's over.
This is not California.
He lives in California. He's gone. He's
Okay,
out
all
of
right,
here.
okay. Thank you, Susan, personally, then. Thank you, Frank. Thank you,
Michelle, can I just add one thing?
Go ahead.
There was a DOD corporation called Salon Bob that opened up in July of 1993.
Thank you.
It's been continuously licensed since before November 1st, 1993. That was the first, I believe that was the first license there.
Okay.
I understand it's confusing when people don't see it.
Search it by the address. Search it by the address.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, thank you, Frank. All right, anyone from the committee have any questions, comments, concerns?
The only thing they said, since 1992 is that there's operating in pace for the name.
Very hard to hear Herman.
I said not because it's opened in 1993, the first license, but it has been in the best interest of the neighborhood for some of those businesses that were there, that benefits the neighborhood.
But it's the law.
I guess, yeah, if it's gonna be another Dream Baby, I don't Listen, I love Dream Baby, and like, that's not what I'm saying, but it's a pretty residential street, it's not relevant to the rule, but for me, as someone who lives near a lot of schools, it does concern me that there would be more like, I don't know. It's a very residential street, there aren't that many businesses on it, I wouldn't want to repeat a Dream Baby situation, have this place open till 4 AM on that street. I don't know, I'm not really keen on 4 AM. No, sorry. You can't speak right now.
It's satisfied with the capacity wise, so it needs to stay. Also,
The amount of people I see in Dream Baby, Chessie's running off.
capacity there, I know it feels tight, but we have a 150 capacity. Like,
Okay, I'm gonna stop with that. I mean, yeah, so what do you want? I would not be, like, it just seems like it's gonna be another Dream Baby. And like, as much as like the outside operations of like the nights that I'm thinking about are like pleasant and good for the community, I wouldn't want that repeated anywhere in a neighborhood where we have to speak up, where it's pretty residential already, they're not gonna do business on it, so I'm like out on 4 AM. That's not at the border.
This has been there for so long, I mean, it's like we would try to see it.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't hear something.
Can I interrupt for a second? Can I ask my client a question? Maria,
yeah.
is this going to be another Dream Baby?
no, it's half the size. It's a tiny, tiny space. And this is a place for our friends to hang out. Our friends want a small, intimate space.
Even if we wanted to recreate Dream Baby in this space, it's impossible, which we don't want to. There's already one of those. And we've worked there 9 years and done with that. And we want a new spot with a new vibe.
Okay, all right, I'm stopping this. Herman.
Well, I would want to see another floor.
But. So, yeah, so there's gonna be a lot of there.
It's gonna be there. You say it's not gonna be there.
I mean, it's not subject to the 500-foot rule.
I'm not going into that, I'm just saying that I want to see another.
Okay, so what are you saying? You would go with no on this?
Yeah.
Okay. I would just change the hours. I don't see why this needs to be before. David?
I'm pretty sure that they will issue the license, so we need to deal with that.
Susan, what's the likelihood, if it's been 4 AM for 20 years, what's the likelihood that they say, okay, yes?
That's gonna speak.
I'm asking questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was the question?
Okay, let's just say hypothetically, we say 2 AM or whatever, and then they don't sign the stipulations, what will the SLA do?
You have nothing to lose. The worst they would do is 4 AM.
Okay, yeah.
And so if you go for 2 AM and go up there and argue for it, and talk about the quiet residential street, you have a chance of getting at 2 AM. And if you don't, again, well, it's not.
Okay. David, what do you think? I would.
Yeah, so
That's a good plan.
there are other stipulations that we would want to add.
Well, I mean, like,
The
wait
standard
lines, like DJs only on Fridays and Saturdays, something like that.
Yeah, we should do that.
Okay.
Works doesn't pay.
Okay. So are you up to what?
Doesn't pay.
Yeah. This is your. Okay, all right, so I'm just gonna run through this, mini. Hours opening no later than 2 PM to 2 AM all days, any outdoor dining needs to close by 10 PM, closed fixed facade, recorded music, ambient, may have DJs on Fridays and Saturdays. No promoted events, no scheduled performances, no cover fees. No pub crawls, the happy hour until 7 PM only. No wait lines, no loitering with an employee designated to do that. They'll post their stipulation form inside the business and telephone number for residents.
Michelle, can I interrupt you a second?
What's up?
Is there any way we could just do 2 a.m. during the week and 4 a.m. on Friday and Saturday? I mean, we could live with that, even though it's not a 500-foot case. We could live with that. I hear the neighbors.
The committee's not gonna vote for it though, so. It's way up. All right.
It's not clockwork, if that helps. Sorry.
Thank you, Frank. All right, moving this to a vote. David Green.
Yes.
Jeanette? Yes. Michelle? Yes. Herman? Paul?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna send you guys the stipulations tomorrow or shortly. Thank you for everyone who came. Thank you to applicants. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you for your patience. Have a good month. Oh, see you Thursday night.
We'll see you on Thursday, Frank. Okay, now we'll get to number 11 here. Applicants for number 11. Heather, you're unmuted.
Hi, can you guys?
Thank you. Hi, Heather, and Matt is our applicant.
Hi, yeah, can you guys hear me? No? Can you guys?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, sorry. The screen's not lighting up like yellow like it normally is. Okay, so this is Sally Can Wait.
I just making sure that you were here.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
You're fine. I'd like to shout out to our other CB3 member, Paul Rangel, who is here with us to the bitter end. Okay, this is an application for 252 Broome Street between Orchard Street and Ludlow Street. Doing business as Sally Can Wait. This is a transfer of assets for an establishment with a certificate of occupancy of 74 people, 16 tables and 50 seats, an L-shaped bar with 13 seats. Hours of operation 12 p.m. to 1 a.m. Sunday to Wednesday, 12 p.m. to 2 a.m. Thursday to Saturday. Serving Jewish Latino fusion food prepared in a full kitchen, served during all hours of operation. 21 full each within 500 feet. So this location is currently Devon. The committee approved this license in April 2018 with the same hours, essentially closing 1 a.m. Sunday to Wednesday, 2 a.m. Thursday to Saturday. The space is currently licensed, although they were fined for COVID non-compliance. That's not related to our applicants, so there's no the SLA is straight in the space. The applicants have never previously been license holders, but one of the applicants has worked in the industry and served as a general manager and head bartender at various restaurants for 10 years. There were 5 commercial 301 complaints at this location with action necessary since 2018. We received opposition from the Orchard Street Block Association and 4 other local residents citing the location's proximity to other license and quality of life issues with the current operator. There were 67 signatures in support of the petition for residents in 2 blocks. Wait, if you guys are going to talk, go out there. Okay, anything I missed today? Or anything correct?
No, I don't think you mentioned the outside space. So they are planning to participate in the roadway dining that's on the diagram, and the hours for the outside would be a 10 p.m. closing.
All right, great, thank you.
If you want the seats outside, it's 10 tables, 20 seats. In addition to the petitions, 9 of them are from the upstairs neighbors directly above them. They also met with the 7th precinct and did a walkthrough. The Lower East Side dwellers they spoke with an Orchard Street Block Association. I'll let the applicants kind of introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about the concept.
Okay, you can do it pretty quickly if that's all right. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. I know it's late. Thank you for giving us your time. So my name is Matt Friedlander. We're very, very excited about opening this restaurant. My business partner, Zach, and I have been developing this concept for the better part of the last 4 years. And feel that, this type of cuisine, which hasn't been represented in the neighborhood or even in New York City at large, is something that is really exciting, not to mention delicious. we're bringing on a very, very, very revered and respected chef who we both worked with at one of our previous restaurants, Island Oyster, which was a seafood focused restaurant in Governor's Island. Yeah, we're just excited to join the community and become part of the neighborhood again. I lived on Orchard Street for 12 years before moving to the East Village, and I'm really looking forward to getting back to my old neighborhood.
Thank you. Okay, anyone from the committee have any questions? Yeah, are you aware of how the previous license was operating? Can you speak to how you will be a better operator than them? Because it seems like they have an adverse history.
Yeah. We actually, during our outreach, we spoke a lot to the neighbors and heard a lot of stories. Now, again, most of this was hearsay. The impression that we've gotten from our neighbors, as well as the conversations that we had with the previous tenant, was that they were operating a full service restaurant, but that they were limiting their menu towards the later part of the evening, basically limiting it to small bites and perhaps the pizzas. And that sort of turned away a lot of their guests who were expecting the full menu. We also, got wind a lot of, I don't quite know how to put this, a lack of hospitality towards the neighbors, particularly their upstairs neighbors. There was a lot of talk of, people being turned away because the restaurant was full, even though it wasn't. It struck me as, an operator who was given an opportunity, given the history of his family, and, basically didn't operate responsibly, didn't operate with the best interests of the neighborhood in mind. For lack of a better phrase, kind of had his own little playpen. I know that, that seems, a little uncouth, but that's the impression that we've gotten. Zach and I are, Zach's 35 years old, I'm 40 years old. We're looking to create a restaurant that welcomes, a broad demographic of New York City and not just, for lack of a better phrase, cool kids or, Instagram influencers. This is a restaurant, and it's a restaurant that is going to be serving really delicious food, and one that is going to cater to the culture that this neighborhood speaks to. It's mentioned in our business plan that we are seeking to do a Latino Jewish fusion, and myself being Nicaraguan and Jewish, Zach being Jewish through and through. We feel that this is something that's exciting, and we've already gotten a really great response from the neighbors and the residents that we've spoken to about their excitement for this concept as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else on the committee have any questions? Okay. We did have one person's left. Okay. Katie Rogers, you are now recognized to speak for 2 minutes on this agenda item.
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Great. So I live at 247 Broome, and I've spoken with both Matt and Zach. I'm really excited for the restaurant to open up. The folks that were there before, I think, as they mentioned, weren't particularly hospitable. I definitely didn't have positive interactions with them, but very excited about trying it out and seeing how it does. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, just to reiterate, committee, the hours of operation are 12 p.m. to 1 a.m. Sunday to Wednesday, 12 p.m. to 2 a.m. Thursday to Saturday. It's the same hours as the current operator has. And I would agree with what you said, like Devin definitely like has food, but it turns into more of a bar. So that might account for some of the issues. David, any thoughts? Yeah. Okay, all right, I'm just gonna run through the simulations quickly. So we're on the same page. It will operate as a Jewish Latino fusion restaurant with a full kitchen serving food at all hours of operation. All hours of operation. Its hours of operation will be open no later than 12 p.m. all days. Closing by 1 a.m. Sunday to Wednesday, 2 a.m. Thursday to Saturday. Close all outdoor dining by 10 p.m. It will close any rear or facade doors and windows at 10 p.m. Ambient background music only. No alterations without coming back here. It will host pub call, not host pub calls or party buses. It will not have unlimited drink specials. You may have happy hours until 7 p.m. No wait lines. Employee designated to have no loitering, noise, or crowds. It'll post a stipulation form beside your liquor license, and you will provide a phone number for residents. Not good, Heather? Yeah. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Okay. All right. Moving this to a vote unless there are any objections. Okay, David Crane.
Yes.
Jeanette. Yes. Michelle. Yes. Herman.
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
All right, thank you guys. We'll send you the stipulations tomorrow for you all to sign. Get them back to us as soon as possible. Susan appreciates it.
Thank you. Have a good
Very
night.
much. You guys too. Thanks for your patience. Yeah, David, we need to have a vote.
So we're doing what?
To close the meeting.
No, we don't have to.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, motion to adjourn.
Second. Thanks, everyone.
Well, why did you go to that effort? You should take a vote.
Motion and
Second, take a vote.
You're killing me, Emma.